I think we're ready to start. Just want to welcome everybody to the school committee meeting of June 9th, 2026. Let's all say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got a full house. This is nice. Welcome, everyone.
Madam Vice Chair, before I read the land acknowledgement, can I make a motion, move to discuss and act on reconsideration and possibly rescission of the May 26, 2026 vote on the superintendent's evaluation due to concerns regarding compliance with DESI Regulation 604, CMR 3504, and school committee policy.
Second.
And I would like this on the agenda today because since our last meeting, Chair Welch emailed the lawyer, and the lawyer said that what we did was against the regulations. And then further in the email, it says, and I'm reading this part.
If I may just interrupt briefly, I'm feeling a little off guard with this. I didn't set the agenda.
That's
I
fine.
didn't know anything about the motion,
I agree.
and I am not prepared to have any conversation. Like, I feel like it's a little bit unfair to have
That's
this
fine.
conversation right now.
But it's Robert's rules,
And
so.
we have students here, which I'd really like to get.
Okay, but this is Robert's rules and how it works. So if we had voted the right way last meeting, this wouldn't be happening. Furthermore, in Chair Welch's email, she says DESI could tell us we did something wrong, but nothing else.
Okay.
So, there's a motion and second on the floor, and there's discussion that we broke DESI regulations last meeting. And I spoke to DESI, and this can cost us funding, it can cost us accreditation.
Who did you
So,
speak to at DESI?
I spoke to DESI.
Who?
Everyone at DESI.
Just give me one name.
Can I have the lawyer's report that says what we're doing was okay?
I'm
Can
totally.
I motion to have the rest of this, we're in the discussion, can I
Yes.
motion to delay it until after we've had the presentation?
I will take that, that's fine, yep.
Okay, so thank you, Katrina. That's initially what I started to say because there are students here and I want to be respectful. Also, what I want to say is that once again, I am completely caught off guard on the
That's
document
fine.
on this. So we're going to take that into consideration. But in the meantime, we're going to keep moving forward with our meeting.
All right,
So I would like for you to read the land, actually, before we do that, Jane, could you please read the mission and vision?
The Falmouth Public Schools creates world-class student learning experiences. Our Clippers are empowered to pursue their goals with curiosity, integrity, and resiliency. Clippers are creative, inquisitive, and engaged learners who participate in their community as socially responsible citizens. Clippers effectively communicate and solve problems that impact the world around them.
land acknowledgement.
Thank you.
2021, Falmouth Public Schools acknowledges that we are gathering on the unceded ancestral land of the Wampanoag Nation. We recognize and respect the Wampanoag people, including those of Succonesset, Waquoit, Sipawissat, Teaticket, and Chappaqua as the original stewards of what is now known as the town of Falmouth, and honor their enduring relationship with this land. This land acknowledgement is an intentional act to counter the erasure of Indigenous people and to demonstrate respect for their sovereign rights. We are committed to educating ourselves and our students about the long-standing history of the Wampanoag people. In alignment with the core values of the Falmouth Public Schools, we pledge to build an ongoing partnership with the Wampanoag Nation.
May I say, Abut Naton? I am Wampanoag.
Thank you.
Abut Naton means welcome.
This is for you tonight. I knew you were here.
Have a good day, thank you very much for
I knew that,
recognizing
man.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that?
Yeah, I knew, yeah.
Do I look Wampanoag?
Thank you.
I'm Rob, the way class of 77. Before they moved us.
It's okay. Just a recording statement. This meeting of the Falmouth School Committee is being recorded in accordance with Massachusetts Open Meeting Law. Anyone who wishes to make an audio or video recording of this meeting must first notify the chair. I am acting as chair. Please raise your hand and make your presence known if you intend to record the meeting.
I'm recording the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you want to say it's okay for parents? Oh,
Whenever.
Terry, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
thank you. I'm just making note of who's having a recording.
Okay.
Is there anyone else recording? Also, parents really kind of don't fall into this. So if you're a parent, please come up, get the best view you can, take your video, stand behind us to get them straight on, whatever you want to do to make sure you have the best documentation of your children, please. So do we have, moving on the agenda, do we have anyone from student advisory tonight?
Not
I don't see Bella. God bless her, she just graduated.
Bella graduated.
I know.
Don't think we'll have one as well.
I know. Next up, we have, I do, I want to go right into the presentation of Morse Pond, No Place for Hate. Who's leading the charge with this?
Oh, that's me.
Hi, come right up, hello and welcome.
No, I have nothing, the kids are doing it. I just
Okay.
These are fabulous students from Morse Pond School. This is the most recent group of No Place for Hate after-school activity. We have 3 after-school activities throughout the year. So we've had about 19 kids all year, but this is our last group and they've been practicing and wanted to present to you. There you go. Yes, yeah. Oh, there you go. And then everyone can find.
Ready to present?
Yeah. There you go.
There's like.
Okay, Zoe, you're on.
Thank you for having us come present what we've done this year. In September, we hung No Place for Hate signs all around the building. We also introduced the No Place for Hate pledge to school. Would you like to say it with us?
Yes.
I promise
to do my best to treat everyone fairly. I promise to be kind to everyone, especially if they are not like me. If I see someone being hurt or bullied, I will be an upstander. Everyone should feel safe and happy in school. Morse Pond is the No Place for Hate school.
In October, Manu and I recited the No Place for Hate pledge in Portuguese. In November, we asked students to write which line in the pledge was most important to them and why. We now say every morning after the Pledge of Allegiance. We then created and delivered class books to each homeroom made up of that student work.
This is Izzy. This is Izzy. Wrong Izzy, wrong Izzy.
In December, we held our first of 3 activities, Us versus Hate. In art, students created posters showing what that meant to them. These posters were displayed at our art show. We also marched in the Falmouth Christmas parade. In January, we hung posters in the cafeteria showing 7 ways to be an ally. Many of us also presented at the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast at the Convention Inn, and we got a standing ovation.
Yeah, you did.
In February, we joined Racial Justice, Falmouth, and the Equity Tea at Lawrence School to make posters of famous Black artists and inventors. These were displayed at the 100 Years of Black History Community Art Show at Lawrence School. Also in February, I recited the No Place for Hate pledge in Spanish. In May, we had
This is Gabby.
in April we made
Oh, in March.
In March, we collaborated with the Wampanoag Nation for our second activity, a presentation about the meaning behind the land acknowledgement. In April, we made posters for the Oakville Walk, focusing on the Juneteenth story. In May, we had our final activity, Don't Put People in Boxes, understanding that there is a lot more to people than meets the eye, and understanding that you may have something in common with others who you thought were different from you. And that is the Don't Put People in Boxes poster that we did.
And here we are in June, an official No Place for Hate school for the second year in a row. Thank you for listening and thank you for your support.
I'd just like to say thank you to all the students. This is for a couple years now, and you're presenting everything that you've done in the school and outside to promote No Place for Hate, no hate at all. So thank you very much. And to the parents, thank you. It's really incredible what you're doing. So keep doing it.
Thanks very much.
And I don't know if you noticed the banner that's back there, the banner. If you saw it, it's actually beautiful, and I'm assuming it's everyone's face, and
It's everybody that
Morse
was in
font.
school that day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. And we're happy to keep that.
We can't keep it.
Just, kids, good job, but I did want to say that Miss Lima does a ton of stuff at Morse Pond, and I wanted to acknowledge her as well. Just so you know, every meeting someone else does it.
Before we get into the next portion, I just wanted to make a comment to Nick's concern that you had last meeting about the packet not being readily available. I personally looked into it myself and did some research, and it's very challenging to get there. So there is a way to navigate through the our website to get to the town website. There's lots of clicking and sliding around. I'm hopeful in the future perhaps we could have an easier way to make the packet more easily available to the public and some of our members. We're working on it. Thank you for bringing it up. We also received an email, and we are trying to be a little bit more proactive where we can and acknowledge people in real time, and this is one of those things. So we heard your concern about the packet. We also heard from other folks. I tried to navigate it. It was definitely more challenging than it should be.
The packets are well hidden on the website.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
It's a town website, it is not the school district.
It's a town website. Unfortunately, that is a little bit common for information on the town website, that it's there, it's just can be really hard to find. You gotta know where to look for it.
Yes.
But I think if we could fix, there's a link that misdirects you basically, and if we could fix that, that would, if we could fix one link, I think it would solve much of the problem.
All right, I will definitely reach out to someone who does IT with the town and see what we can do with that.
Yeah, that would be
Alright.
great if we could just get that link so that when you click on school committee packets, it doesn't just start going back to the same page.
Right, I found that as well. And then I called Sharon and
Yeah.
I had a whole thing
I
of
lost
notes.
confidence and stopped looking.
Okay, so I would like to move on to if there's anyone here for public comment. Go ahead.
Well, before,
I wanna keep moving with I hear you,
but
I'm not
that's
gonna
not how
ignore
it
you.
works though. Okay, that's fine.
I'm not gonna ignore you. I promise I'm not gonna ignore you. For
Okay.
right now, I just wanna get through the first things that we have in the beginning, and then we can get there.
Yeah, I understand that, but Robert's rule said this has to get addressed first.
We are gonna address it first, after we do the regular things that we have to do. I promise we're gonna get there. Just don't
Okay.
touch someone, that's not very
Well,
nice.
she shouldn't talk when I'm talking.
Okay, everyone just behave, okay?
Okay.
Everyone just like mind our manners. Please, Megan. Mike, would you mind doing the timer? Thank you very much.
I'm Megan Zottely, Carriage Shop Road. As you prepare to review and discuss the district handbooks, I urge you to discuss and vote on each school's handbook individually. Each school has unique policies and concerns that deserve independent consideration, transparency, and accountability. Tonight, I want to specifically address Lawrence School's handbook and its uniform policy. For years, the Lawrence School uniform has been implemented inconsistently, resulting in daily discrimination among students, which staff and administration know about. Families and students have repeatedly raised concerns, yet administration has chosen to turn a blind eye. Each year, 1 or 2 restrictions are quietly removed from the Lawrence uniform. This year, students are once again being granted to wear the right to wear performance twill and corduroy. If these items are now acceptable, then we must ask, why are we incrementally giving students back their rights that never should have been taken away in the first place? Why are we continuing to hold on to an outdated uniform policy that many families view as sexist, discriminatory, financially burdensome, and unnecessarily restrictive? Across Massachusetts and throughout the country, public schools have moved away from mandatory uniforms because they create inequities, place financial strain on families, and can limit students' ability to express themselves. Yet Lawrence continues to cling to a policy that no longer reflects the values of inclusion, equity, and student voice that this district claims to support. I urge this committee to review the Lawrence School handbook separately, listen to stakeholders, gather data that has been repeatedly requested, and finally have an honest conversation about whether this uniform still serves our students. I ask, how can you implement policy in our student handbooks if you are not following your own written policy? This demonstrates a do as I say, not as I do mentality, which is not received well by the community that you serve. Let's listen to the kids that just spoke and not put people in boxes.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? Seeing none. Mike,
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Can I talk about this now?
could you let me finish?
Sure.
I feel like in our school committee bullet points,
Yeah.
we have, why? What's with the attitude?
Because Melissa, I am following Robert's rules. It was seconded.
Mike, I'm trying to do the best I can, okay? We just had no place for hate here, talking about
Yes.
bullying, and you're coming at me like full force. And I just said that I would hear you, and I just said that I would listen to you, okay?
Okay.
And I'm just trying, excuse me, and I'm just trying to let you know that I'm doing the best I can. And had I had any information prior to this, I could have at least had a thought in my head about this was coming, kind of thing.
Okay.
When I made my motion to delay, I didn't designate a place. Where do you want it to be as the chair of the meeting, to designate
I
the
think
place,
it's-
because we just said delay.
Thank
and
you,
I think
Katrina,
that's
I
the
appreciate you trying to hear both sides. I think that that's lovely. I did honor Mike, I want to hear you. I think this is probably the best time as ever. I don't want you to think that I'm not listening to you or that I'm putting you off in some way. I'm not. All I'm saying is that I really wish that I had, as acting chair this evening, that I had a heads up that I could have had done some kind of something.
Okay.
That's all.
And I apologize for that. And I will say about the bullet points and our procedures, those aren't followed at all. I've seen people yell at myself, Glenda, Katrina, on a regular basis.
Okay.
So let's not, so here's the story. I've talked to the AG's office, I've talked to Glenn from Mask, I've talked to Shannon Clancy from DESE, I've talked to Paige Butters from DESE, I've talked to a woman named Melissa from DESE. every single person says that standard 1 needs improvement, there's a regulation. If we do not do what DESE regulation says, DESE can take away accreditation and funding. That's what I was told. They're looking into it more. I don't feel comfortable with this. As far as no place for hate, treat everyone equally, I have asked Chair Welch several times to talk to a lawyer, and she says no. Chair Welch has never given us anything from Andy Waugh, just her kind of, her narration of what happens. This is not a democracy, this is authoritarianism with Kelly Welch just doing whatever she wants. We are breaking a regulation. I'm asking us to do the right thing, put it back on the agenda. The lawyer said that our own lawyer said we're breaking the regulations. And the chair's response is, we'll have a meeting down the line and turn the page. I'm tired of turning the page. Everything we do is just kick the can and just cover up stuff. I'm tired of it. This is a regulation from DESE. Everyone I spoke to, the AG, MASC, DESE, everyone says it's wrong. Our own lawyer says it's wrong. Everyone. So why is our chair saying, let's turn the page and move on? This is wrong. Are we here for the children, or are we here to protect administration? This isn't a fireable offense. This is a needs improvement. This is a regulation. I don't know what the purpose of us being here for if Kelly's gonna run everything behind the scenes. She won't let me talk to a lawyer. She's given none of us any of the lawyer's information. Everything that they did to Katrina's evaluation is wrong with the redactions. We've never seen anything lawyers with that. So I'm asking people to follow DESE regulations and do the legal thing. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do you feel heard?
Well, eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to backpedal about other people's evaluations. I think that was handled at the last meeting. Well, redactions happened when there were inappropriate things in there. That isn't from me, I am just the vessel of saying that, okay? This is not, I'm just letting you know and others know that that is what was told to me
From a lawyer?
from a lawyer. So,
Did we all
that
get that
being said,
information though?
Mike, I'm not falling down that rabbit hole, I'm just not. So, I've heard your statement,
It's a state regulation.
I hear you,
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I did not set the agenda, I have nothing to do with the agenda.
That's okay, we're adding to the agenda now if people would oblige us to.
If people, again, usually we get the agenda days beforehand.
Okay.
And at least the people at this table have an opportunity to do research on it and think on it. And like, I don't look at my agenda Tuesday at 5 o'clock and think that I can manage and do what I'm supposed to do. I am not suggesting to kick it down the can. I hear what you're saying. I hear you, I see you, and I know that it's not just you, and I see others as well. I just feel very ill-prepared with this. I am more than happy to advocate for this,
No,
okay?
this is Robert's rules, I made a motion, Glenda seconded. If the majority of the committee will oblige me to do the legal thing, then we do it. If the majority of the committee decides that they want to do the illegal thing, then we do that. But the public has the right to know who is doing the legal thing for the betterment of the students and who is not.
Point of order, can we just repeat what the motion was? It was, being that it was a few minutes ago,
The motion is, and I can read exactly, but it's to rescind the vote of May 26th.
reconsider the vote.
We have to rescind it first. Whenever we pass a vote, you actually have to rescind it from Robert's rules because it's been done. Then once it's rescinded, then we reconsider the vote. But you have to do the rescinding first. That's what the AG told me. You can't just reconsider a vote because it's still a solid vote. And I will say one more thing, Nick. All of our policies and procedures and operating protocols, and what this last speaker said, they're meaningless if we don't follow our own policies and we don't follow regulations.
Okay.
I mean, how can we tell someone to dress a certain way or not wear a watch when we are blatantly disregarding state regulations all the time?
I heard you, thank you.
Thanks.
Kelly has her hand up, and I don't know how to promote her. Ryan?
No,
can we-
I'm here. I think you can hear me. Can you hear me?
To speak?
Can you hear me? I'm a panelist, so I think you should be able to hear me.
Hold on, Kelly, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Right now?
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. I couldn't tell. So, just taking a step back, thanks to the point that Mike brought our attention to before the vote, we all learned about the one line in the last appendix of the very end of the evaluation document that pointed this regulation out and this particular requirement for proficient and needs improvement. We all learned that, I think, or at least most of us did at the same time. Even when we approached the lawyer prior to the vote, he had never heard of this. It is so uncommonly used. And so, the two members who made that mistake on their evaluation, it was not out of malice. It was just something that we learn and we get better and we grow. And thanks to Mike pointing it out, we will not make the same mistakes again. However, those two members are no longer on the committee, and we cannot ask them to try to revisit what they already did based on something that they didn't know at the time. I don't feel like that's a fair piece. We all saw all of the legal opinions from Mary, from Andy, all the members who voted. I know that Nick and Janie didn't have them at the time. But prior to our vote, I forwarded all the emails that Andy had sent in response. I forwarded the emails from Mary. When she responded, we saw content from, I think, Katrina and Glenda from the questions that they had asked of legal. We all acknowledged that we made a mistake because we didn't know something, and we cannot go back in time. And so I'm going to ask that we vote this down, because we cannot revisit every decision that we make just because we're not happy with the answer. The best that we can do is follow legal advice and create a structure for next year that we can rely on, that will be more seamless, and that will not make the same mistakes. That was our legal counsel's suggestion for how to move forward. And I'll leave it at that.
If I can reply to that, I don't know who the two members who made a mistake are, because if they're not here, they can't talk to that. Also, when you email the lawyer.
Actually, Mike, I can answer that.
Okay.
It was Terry and Chris who are not at this table.
Okay.
And that's why they can't speak to them.
Yeah, I
They're not
understand,
here.
but she's talking about mistakes by people who aren't here, which I feel is wrong, but when you
But that's
emailed the
the-
lawyer,
she-
she did not email the lawyer if the
Mike,
regulation.
again, you don't like my answer.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question,
Okay.
okay? Has anybody at this table seen Andy Wad's actual words or just a summarization from Ms. Welch?
It is not my summary. I forwarded you his exact email.
We all have it, Mike.
The one after the
Everyone
vote?
got it, and I resent it because you said I didn't send it in the first
That
place.
was the one prior to the vote, Kelly. The one after the vote, when you asked him if we can get in trouble for not following regulations, and you said that his advice was just to turn the page and move on.
Yes, and
That's what Andy,
Glenda
our
has seen
lawyer,
it.
said, to ignore state regulations.
And Glenda followed up with him and asked him, and he assured her that it was exactly our conversation.
Did he say to ignore state regulations, our lawyer?
No, my conversation with him was prior to that, Kelly.
So after the vote, where I said something, and my colleague, Ms. Cohen, asked to have legal advice chime in, the question you asked was, can we get in trouble for this? And he said in his response, according to your words, he said that what we did was against the regulation. Then the next paragraph, you said his advice is to hold a conference and turn the page. So are you telling us that the legal counsel advocated for breaking a state regulation, or are those your words? Because nobody saw anything from him after that meeting. You sent us something May 22nd.
I'm trying to unmute. I was trying to unmute. I'm going to read you what it said, because for some reason it was on. The response that he sent to Glenda was on June 3rd.
All right, and that's when he advocated for breaking state regulation, or were those your words?
I didn't say
Because
that
some
he
reason-
advocated for breaking state regulations.
So
That's
that
not
was
what I said.
It was your opinion to turn the page and move on and not worry about it, because you had said that DESE can just say we did it wrong, but we won't get in trouble, and that's not true. We can lose funding and accreditation by not doing stuff right when the resolution team comes in. That's what they told me, DESE. So I have a real problem with us skirting policies and regulations, covering up stuff, and paying people taxpayer dollars to do so. And our policies mean nothing if we don't follow our own policies.
Melissa, I'm going to suggest that if anyone, I don't want to go back and forth with Mike. That's not appropriate. It doesn't follow order. So I'm going to suggest we hear from others if necessary and then vote on it.
Kelly, can I call the lawyer and talk to him directly or not still?
Mike, can we stand down on that for just a moment?
No, treat everyone equally and fairly, and I'm not being treated equally or fairly.
I'm not the enemy here.
I'm not saying you are, but it's a legit
Then change
question.
your tone with me, please.
Change your tone with me, Melissa. You're yelling at me.
No,
Okay,
I'm not. When I am, you'll know.
I love that. I love that.
So,
Well, that's the mom coming out right
would
now.
it help,
In just a moment, Katrina, if I may. Now, if we would like to, first of all, I would like to hear from other people.
Okay.
First of all. Second of all, I would like to advocate for, if this is something that should come back on an agenda, I would like to have legal advice and have it be sent to everyone. There'll be zero, not that anybody is gatekeeping anything, but I just want to be crystal clear that there will be zero gatekeeping. I also want to be extraordinarily respectful of your concerns and others' concerns about the May 26th vote. If you think that it is not okay and that you think that it needs to come back on an agenda, as an agenda item, and the majority wants that, I would strongly advocate that we do that after we do some homework and get advice from our attorney and get the advice from the attorney to everyone. That's what I would like to do. Also, I love you, but I want to hear from somebody else right now. Katrina, I've cut you off a couple of times, please.
oh, that's okay. So I agree with what you just said, and I think the frustration I'm hearing from Mike, perhaps, and I have not talked to Mike other than what we got in emails, but I think the frustration is that we didn't see legal advice. We just heard it secondhand. So, and that's relating also to my issue with redactions. I would like to see the legal advice rather than hear it from secondhand. So what you've just said, I agree with completely, and I believe it would be very useful to have the homework done before having this conversation again at our next meeting.
Okay. I think that you just said, excuse me, one moment, please. I think that you just said something quite profound as far as hearing secondhand. At some point, there are 3 officers on this committee, and we were elected in. Officers get elected in to do a job, and the rest of the committee has to trust that they're going to do the job. I 100% understand that there's not a whole lot of trust going on. Mike, thank you. The sass. So
But just
my point is that I'm really, really doing my very best to start new, start fresh, and make sure that everyone has all of the information at the same time, okay? Katrina, were you finished?
Yeah, what you just said, all the information at the same time, would really increase the trust.
I agree. Linda, I think I saw you next.
Sure, just to follow up, probably to clarify what Kelly said. As Mike had said, we received an email where Kelly said, quoted Attorney Waugh, he agreed that the approved evaluation does not agree with the regulations because it has an overall rating of proficient and it needs improvement under standard 1, and the regulations do not allow this. I forwarded that to Attorney Waugh to ask if that information was congruent with what he discussed with Kelly, and he said Hi Glenda, I just reviewed the email that Kelly Welch sent out to the full school committee, and it reflects my conversation with her about the superintendent evaluation process. That was it. So he's confirming that he said that we did not comply.
We did not comply or we cannot comply?
We did not.
That we, I will read again what he agreed that the approved evaluation does not agree with the regulations because it has an overall rating of proficient and it needs improvement under standard 1. This regulation does not, and the regulations do not allow this. So he confirmed that that was indeed accurate information conveyed to us by Kelly. But the essence is, it's not allowed.
Thank you, Glenda, for that.
Can I just have one more point, I'll be done, thank you, Melissa, real quick, real quick.
I think you have to let everybody else speak first, sorry. That's Robert's rules too.
Just go, let ants in your pants, go ahead.
And I apologize for spending on this issue, this on you, dyslexia. I do apologize for that. However, I will say, and I'll let the public know, that right after we got that email from the lawyer and Chair Welch saying that we're gonna ignore the regulation and turn the page, I requested to be on the agenda, and I had a second from a colleague of mine. So the chair was well aware, and the chair said, we will not be discussing this, and would not let me talk to a lawyer. So you, and it's not you, Melissa, but any kind of narrative that I'm springing this on people that they didn't know, there's an email chain a mile long, and I'm totally, I am uncomfortable with this, and I've expressed it. I asked it in the agenda, and Chair Welch said no. I asked to speak to a lawyer. Chair Welch said no.
Okay.
So again, no one's being treated fairly or equally here.
I'm doing my very best.
It's not you, authoritarian.
Oh, anyone else? Does anyone else have anything to say on this? Margaret?
Yeah, I just had two things. Number one, I think it'd be really important if we're getting information from the lawyer, that we also get exact information from Desi. The word legal has been brought, and if there's illegal, I think that's important for us to know. And so I think that we need information from Desi. The other thing is, among the people you spoke to, you mentioned Glenn. I spoke to Glenn and to Sean, at a meeting that I was at, and both of them said that some of this information is sort of, it was there, is it used? So their response was not, it's a problem, it's illegal, don't do it. As a matter of fact, my motion last time was to not do the evaluation at the meeting so that in fact we could have more information. And in fact, all members of the meeting, all members of the committee could get this information. And my motion was, and that came from Glenn, by the way. Glenn said 2 or 3 months, not 1 month. And my motion was voted down.
Katrina?
I just wanted to remind everybody that our town council did tell us not to take legal advice from MASC, so I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
I just wanted to, it wasn't legal advice. MASC, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't plan on voting one way or the other on the actual evaluation because I was not here for any of it, and I feel like I do not have enough information, and I will probably never have enough information for that. However, we find ourselves in a little bit of pickle here, and I just was going to try to suggest a way forward, which would be we have a motion and a second to rescind the vote. We should take that vote. In the event that it passes, we should then take a vote to table it for a future meeting.
Okay. Thank you for your advice. Was there anyone else who had anything that they wanted to say? Jean?
I just have a lot of emotions and thoughts as I'm sitting here, and it's hard to see so many people here in pain. That's really what I'm looking at, right? So everyone's been doing the best they can and serving, you know, of their own free time and so forth, and trying to do the right thing. But I'm also thinking of the people not at this table. And when we make these decisions and we consider them, we have to consider all stakeholders, especially when we're considering policy or regulations and so forth like that, and what the committee's role is, which is to be role models, right? We're supposed to be the leaders, we're supposed to do the right thing, or be the example for everybody. And again, I don't have all the information, I couldn't even tell you what's fair or what is even right in this. But I would just hope that, that if we are able to, if you do choose to vote, because like Nick, I don't feel I can vote on this, that there would be a lot of think time in between in terms about, in the big picture, keeping all the stakeholders in mind and whatever action we take, not just this agenda item, but every agenda item moving forward.
Thank you. If anyone else, because I was just gonna say one thing. I think part of our, I don't wanna say problem last year, but I'm on my back foot right now. So I think part of the issues that we had last year was that we had multiple people speaking to multiple entities. DESE, MASC, the AG's office, multiple attorneys, and it was too many opinions, getting too many variations on very vague and some very specific, but very vague policies. Policies are designed to be interpreted. You could ask multiple people how they view a policy, and policies are also designed to be sort of an umbrella, not always a pinpoint. So that being said, and Chair Welch and I had spoke with this briefly over the phone, that we would like to find a better way to streamline how we can all feel heard, that we all have the same information at the same time, and how we can kind of streamline who's talking to who when, while not squashing or quieting anyone's concern or ability to reach out to those entities. But right now we have too many cooks in the kitchen, and we have to streamline this. So that being said, I like Nick's idea. I think that we should vote on the motion, and then we'll see where we land. So
Okay.
there's a motion
Can
on
I
it.
amend his motion? I know. It's a good amendment, I think.
Okay.
If Mike will allow me. Oh, no, he doesn't have to allow me. I'm gonna try
Go
to
ahead.
make a motion
Let's
to
see how-
amend Mike's motion, that we, I'm not sure the best wording, but basically pending receiving the information from legal counsel, and I believe what Mike wants is from Andy Roth.
Okay.
Then we will bring, I don't know, Mike, do you want to amend it? That's what I'm trying to do, like, let's get the information rather than voting right
Could
now,
we
because I don't feel informed.
Mike, if I may, could you repeat
Yes.
the motion one more time so that it's fresh in our heads, and then decide if we need an amendment or?
Yes, and I think there was some confusion because Nick, all I'm motioning here is just the reconsideration and rescinding the May 26th vote, nothing else. So it says, I move to discuss and act on the reconsideration and possible rescission of the May 26, 2026 vote of the superintendent's evaluation due to concerns regarding compliance with DESE Regulation 604 CMR 35.04 and school committee policy. So that does not discuss at all about doing all the stuff that you had said and re-voting. It's just to rescind it based on that one regulation.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Did you want to amend it, Katrina?
In order
or
to
you
amend
happy
it,
the way
I think
was?
I have to make a whole new motion that we get the information, but I don't want to do
Okay,
that right
I
now.
feel like
think
we're
I have
getting
the
wordy.
information. I know, I don't have the right way
So,
of wording it, unfortunately.
Can we let it ride like that?
No, because I don't feel ready to vote on rescinding something that we already voted on unless I have legal information that tells me we should.
Go ahead, Margaret.
So I don't think that what you want to do is amend the motion. I think that what you probably want to do is table the motion until we have all the information we need to make a decision about it.
Okay, so I
Which
would
is
like
essentially
to,
what Nick said.
no, we can't table them though. I would like to make a motion to, what's the word, defer this to our next meeting, to,
Defer to a time definite.
yes,
to
a
the
definite
next
time,
meeting.
right, to our next meeting.
What did you
Defer
do?
Mike's motion to our next meeting. Does that work?
Yes.
Yes,
Pending legal advice.
correct. You're comfortable with that?
I'm okay, Melissa, I'm coming back around now.
Okay, all right.
You seconded that motion?
Well, I will accept and then,
I will second
I
Katrina's
don't care,
motion
I'll second that, I want to go with it.
to delay this until the next meeting.
Okay,
Postpone, that's what we're looking for.
To
Postpone
postpone
to the next.
Mike's motion, which involved a reconsideration and potentially rescission of the prior vote until the next meeting.
okay, and in that timeframe, we are going to, I'm going to personally make sure with Chair Welch that we have all the information that we need. So if there's something specific, please reach out to both of us. Okay, let's vote. Jamie?
Yes, affirmative.
Yes. Marie, okay. Okay, Katrina?
Oh, sorry, we're voting, yeah, Nevin,
Nick?
Yes.
Susan, yes?
Augusta, yes.
Colin, yes.
Galen, yes.
Kelly?
No.
Okay. And I will vote yes as well. Oh, I think we're turning the corner. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Nice job. Okay, so next up, we have the update from the superintendent. Dr. Durham.
Can I just say, we have a lot of people here ready to do a presentation, and I'm happy
okay.
to defer and let them go.
Yes.
I think that's
So let's go a little out of order and we'll do the presentation of Morse Pond report cards. Okay, great. Come on up.
Brian, I managed to get myself stuck in split screen rule.
I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do.
Never mind, just got it. Yes? That's not what I want. I want this. Oh, no, I think it was just loading.
There's too many spaces going.
No, I never done it, just this. So thank you for this opportunity. I want to introduce Karen Carson, our elementary STEM department head, and Dr. Erin Castadio, our elementary literacy manager, who were both here at a prior meeting to talk about our elementary benchmarks and who are part of the team at Morse Pond that's leading the revision of the report cards. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and also we can introduce others as we go.
Sure, well, I'm gonna introduce the team we have with us here tonight. Certainly, Mr. Adams, Jen Adams, our building principal, Anne Marie Angoli and Sarah Boyd, our assistant principals in SEBA. And then we're very happy to have Kristen Trabue, Amy Peterson, Stacy Strong, and Karen St. Julie over here on the left, teachers at Morse Pond here tonight in support as well. So thank you for having us. I was laughing a little bit because it was just about a year ago we sat here and we did this with the elementary report card. And for those of you that were here with us then, you may remember how we closed out that meeting and it was, we'll be back. That the process had started at Morse Pond, we were about a year behind. But those fourth graders now are rising up to fifth grade, and so here we are ready to take that next step. So what we'd like to do tonight is do a little bit of refreshing of some of kind of why we're here and why we're doing what we are. Later on, you'll hear Erin's gonna kind of walk you through the process that we went through at Morse Pond. I believe you have drafts of the report cards in your packets, and then we'll have an opportunity to answer any questions that you have. To start, in our work to support all students, it's really important our reporting practices reflect what students are expected to know and be able to do. So naturally, our approach began with the Massachusetts curriculum frameworks. These standards provide clear expectations for learning at every grade level and ensure that students across the Commonwealth have access to high-quality instructional material. The report card, in its general sense, is one of the primary ways we communicate student learning to families. And because of this, it is essential that what we report is directly connected to these standards and accurately reflects student progress towards them. The work is ultimately about keeping students at the center of the conversation and ensuring that our reporting practices align with what we value most: learning, growth, and achievement. One of the key beliefs that has guided our work, now going on maybe 4 or 5 years, if you go back to the beginning of the elementary process and grow it up this way, has been at the core is communication. Grades should provide meaningful information about students' strengths, areas for growth, and progress towards learning goals. When families receive a report card, they should be able to clearly understand what their children know and can do. Research tells us that grading systems are most effective when they focus on learning rather than just accumulating points. By using clear criteria and common expectations, we create a more consistent and transparent system for students, families, and teachers. A well-designed report card also supports a culture of growth. It helps students understand where they are in their learning journey and what the next steps are that they need to take in order to move forward. The redesigned report card aims to do just that. So with those thoughts as our foundational beliefs, the current revision process was driven by some other important factors. First, Massachusetts has updated many, if not most, of its curriculum standards since our current report card was developed. Our reporting practices should reflect those changes. Second, educational research continues to provide us with a better understanding of effective grading and assessment practices. We wanted to ensure that our report card reflects those evidence-based approaches. Additionally, this revision helps us focus more directly on what students are learning, meet students where they are in their development, and strengthen alignment across grade levels in schools. Most importantly, it improves communication among teachers, students, and families by creating a clear picture of student proficiency and progress. The revised report card, just like the one last year, is considered a standards-based report card. Rather than focusing on points, averages, and percentages, it focuses on student performance relative to end-of-year grade level standards and expectations. It is designed to communicate what students know and are able to do at this point in their learning. Proficiency scales provide teachers with clearer and more consistent criteria for evaluating student performance. Equally important is understanding what the report card is not. It is not based on an arbitrary timeline or traditional grading practices that may vary from classroom to classroom. It is not intended to be a collection of points or percentages. Instead, the goal is to provide families with more accurate, objective, and meaningful picture of student learning and progress. Ultimately, the revised report card represents an important step toward greater clarity, consistency, and equity in how we communicate student achievement. So Erin's going to take us through what happened at Morse Pond in terms of our process there.
Thank you, everyone. So if you're looking at the timeline that's up on the board, you can see that we didn't arrive at this product overnight. Sometimes I laugh to myself because I don't remember a time, I think maybe my first year, where we weren't working on report cards. Like, it's such a cool thing to go, here we are, this is incredible, rolling them all out. So if you take a look back at our process, starting back in the 2022-2023 school year is when we really had initial conversations about different grading practices at that point. We did a lot of that through grade level leader meetings and professional learning communities. There was also some initial knowledge building through professional development on 2 different occasions. That continued into the following school year, the 2023-2024 school year. During that time, there was also the implementation of IRA math, which is important to note because it really helped us to identify our priority standards that we'll be using for the report card. So new curriculum always really helps us to put a new lens on what our true priorities are. And then last year, 2024-2025 school year, we finalized priority standards. We thought we did, but then we also we had a new reading ELA program on the horizon, and so while we thought they were finalized, you'll see that we really just did that this school year. But again, for that 2024-2025 school year, we continue to work with grade level leaders, and one of the things that was fantastic is that we had an opportunity for our Morse Pond grade level leaders to meet with our K-4 grade level leaders to really talk through the process, what they had learned to date, and so forth. And then in this school year, we had an opportunity for them to meet once again, which was terrific. So as our Morse Pond school teachers were putting the finishing touches on the design of their new report card, they actually had an opportunity to meet with K-4 grade level leaders in February after the close of the first marking term. So that was the timing of that was really beautiful because they had already been through it once to say, hey, this is what it looked like, this is what it felt like. And so just having an opportunity for continuous collaboration and that vertical alignment between kindergarten through grade 4 with our 5 and 6 teachers was really tremendous. And so this school year, again, the implementation of EL education for ELA, my team of ELA teachers definitely took another look at their standards just to make sure they were just right. And here we are today. One of the things I spoke about last time, and I will call attention to it again because I really mean it very sincerely. Falmouth is the 3rd school district that I have worked in, and one of the things that I am really taken aback by is just how many structures are in place to really, maintain and sustain collaboration amongst teachers. I think that that's really remarkable. So the feedback cycle at Morse Pond is very similar, but a little bit different than it is in the K-4 schools. Our Morse Pond colleagues have a professional learning community each week that meets by department. Karen works with the math and science teachers, and I work with the ELA and social studies teachers. And so it's really lovely to have that opportunity to sit with them every single week, and sometimes we talk about things that are more, curriculum related. Sometimes it's helping us advance the conversation with a new type of grading, for example. And then they also have school-based grade level department meetings that are monthly. We have Morse Pond grade level leader meetings that happen 5 times a year. And then often says this conversation, this cycle of feedback, you can see on the visual, it just carries. The conversation never ends. It is constantly going. We take our works just so far and we bring it into the next setting and we continue to expand it. And then one of the things that's also happening is that they certainly have staff meetings with building administration monthly where these same concepts are revisited, and Karen and I are always in close contact with this team. And so we're always on the same page and just seeing what comes next. So there have been lots of opportunities for teachers to really just think through this and to arrive at a decision and then revise that based on new information. So I do think that we have wonderful supports in place for teachers to be able to collaborate. So in terms of the finished product, there are so many similarities. It is really incredible how that worked out. So the same process of selecting priority standards was followed. We have the same performance indicators that are beginning, developing, progressing or having met the standard. It's the same format, so it's going to look the same. So if you have a parent in the K-4, a parent with students in the K-4 buildings, and in Morse Point, they look very, very similar. Same marking terms, so like a January and a June. The differences are certainly that there are grade level specific standards, right? That's going to be different by grade level. And then the Clipper learning habits for success. We have a couple of places in which we just kind of made some developmentally appropriate changes to them, and I can give you some examples. So, for example, in kindergarten through grade 4, follow school and classroom rules during structured times is something that teachers like to report out on versus following school and classroom rules during unstructured times, right? Because when children are young, oftentimes, the behaviors in those two different settings can look very different. But our Morse Pond teachers, after really reviewing the K-4 draft of Clipper Habits for Success, really felt like, something at this point, we just want that to be across settings. And so they combined that and removed the structured versus unstructured settings. Another one that is very, very similar is in K-4. The habit reads as demonstrate cooperation and respectful behavior toward peers. And there's another one that says demonstrate cooperation and respectful behavior toward adults. They just changed it to demonstrate cooperation and respectful behavior. So again, it's really just kind of that developmental nuance, but they are incredibly aligned. And so I think, it was very cool actually, because our first run through, they had some changes here and there. And then they said, no, that's too wordy. We kind of liked the original. So you can see they are really incredibly close. So that was kind of cool, just letting that process run through. Back to you, Karen.
So another place where the report cards are really the same are those performance indicators. And as a reminder, in traditional grading, a student's grade can include things like participation or effort, work completion, did they put the capitals in the periods, even though it's a math standard, right? Things like that. In a standards-based reporting situation, students are assessed on how well they're doing on a specific skill or standard. So we use performance indicators, how they're performing, as a rating scale. And again, this is another one of those places where the vertical alignment was so important that the same ones at the elementary school will carry right up through grade 6. And just as a reminder, I know Erin went through them, but beginning just means that the student is just getting started with the standard, or maybe the teacher hasn't really taught the direct lesson. But they're starting to interact with the skill a little bit. Developing, students starting to get a really good sense of the vocabulary, some of the foundational skills. Progressing, the teachers, if you kind of remember back to last year, felt like there needed to be a place in between that developing and that meeting. That there were some kids that had moved beyond that, but in order to meet the standard, you really have to meet the whole standard, not just like, well, they can do most of it, so they're meeting it. You have to be able to do it all. And so that's where we ended up with this progressing, so they consistently can do the developing skills, the vocab, the basic things. And that they can sometimes do a lot of this up here, but they're just not quite there yet. So that it felt more comfortable than saying they're still at developing, even though they're beyond that. So these performance indicators will help students and families hopefully understand not just how they're doing, but where they are in that learning process and how we can work together to help them grow. So on the screen behind me and now in front of you is just the report card. Again, the format looks just like the elementary one. So I can go to the next one with the red, the pink, right? Just a quick tour to remind you. At the top of the report card, there's a summary of attendance, student name, things like that, teacher. The comments will be at the beginning. On our old report card, they were kind of at the end, but that was another place. Teachers really felt like we want that first and foremost. You'll see those Clipper habits prominently displayed at the top on the left. And then the priority standards for each core subject in all of the specials are all there. And you'll see the 2 columns, one for the January marking period, one for the June. So again, it should feel familiar to you. We're hoping it feels familiar as our 4th grade students now come up to 5th grade. This is what they will have had, and that should feel familiar to them as well. Our 6th grade parents, there's a little bit of a gap there, but they were part of that parent group when we did all of the parent the parent forums and all of the parent education. It's just been that 1 year where they didn't get to see it in action. So at this time, we're happy to answer questions, give you a chance to take another look.
Please.
So I just want to applaud all of you. This is, having run these types of committees and initiatives, it is an enormous amount of work and collaboration, give and take, grace, all of those things that teachers have to do to get whatever directive administration has given them to do. But I think what's wonderful about standards-based report cards is, in the heart of teachers, they know that this is what's best for kids. The best way for them to demonstrate what they know and what they can do, and not to, get sidelined by if it's just one skill that they can't master or they're just not there yet. That's why I love the
progressing.
All the INGs, right? Yeah. Because it's action, right? They're moving forward.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Right, that we need to focus on. And it's also like the best way to identify learning gaps, right? So we're not necessarily talking about students on plans, but it also helps teachers with whatever MTSS protocols you have in place to target those learning gaps and to put supports in for the kids, but also for the teachers to have the time for planning, that's the real success, right, is having that time, so I'm so happy to hear that. And then I'm sure your work next year will be more about common assessments, common rubrics, and all of that to have integrity in whatever grading that there is, so.
We've developed proficiency scales for all of the priority standards to date. The work, again, coming back in September will be that calibration and using those proficiency scales with teachers, but just having them as a resource takes out so much of the subjectivity.
Right.
But that'll kind of be that next step, is kind of putting all that into action.
Okay. So I wish you well. Great job. Thank you.
So thank you for this, and as somebody who's finishing my own grades, I know this approach, I just would like the community to know, is so much more labor intensive for teachers, so kudos to the teachers who are adopting this. Quick question following up on Jamie's question. Is this, or maybe not, scaffolded for students on IEPs or English language programs?
So they will have the same report card, because we're expected to grade according to grade level standards. For students on an individual education plan on an IEP, they'll still get their progress notes that will go along with it. But so those families will kind of have both. Where are their students in relationship to grade level standards, and how are they progressing in their individual goals and making progress there? I honestly don't know that I know the answer to if ELD has their own type of progress note, right?
The
I
progress
thought
notes,
so.
and some students also have English learner success plans. So there's a tiered series of supports that come alongside the report card.
Thank you.
Margaret.
Well, I want to thank you for the work, and thank you for the teachers who are willing to do all this extra work.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And
really
for working together to make this happen.
two things I really like about it. Number one, that it provides objectivity in grading, and I think that's so essential. I mean, that's really a traditional problem in education. The other thing is, when I had students come to college, they had no clue what they knew, what they didn't know, whatever. You were providing them the basis. It will hopefully, college professors will thank you someday. Because you will provide them the basis, they will really have an understanding of the way they look at education. So I can't thank you enough for this. Thank you very much.
Susan. Thank you, everyone. I just need a little clarification in regards to, so the elementary report cards have been in place. So this will not be something new for the 5th grade parents next year. What efforts will be made to help educate the 6th grade parents a little bit more?
So I would assume we'll follow a very similar process to what we did last year when we implemented it in elementary schools. All of the principals sent home notification early in the year with with what was coming up. We have our website has a lot of information on it. We did some videos. It was terrible.
It's additional conference.
Yeah, and we have additional conference dates coming up next year.
Yeah, great.
Two, and so
How to read, how to access.
all the videos,
all of that.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's all there.
Thank you very much. And last time you were here, I did mention the teacher time, I think. I don't know if you have any feedback from teachers or how much time it's taken?
You know what's been really interesting? We talked to our K-4 grade level leaders, was it just Thursday?
Yeah.
Just this past Thursday. And one of the feedback that, correct me if I'm oversimplifying this, but the feedback was like that it was not nearly as bad as they thought. There was a lot of anxiety going in, which is why I think it took us so long to get it across the finish line initially, like it was a lot. I think the biggest thing that keeps coming up was organization, like how do I organize this? And so it's really funny because I think some of the teachers wanted us to tell them how to organize it, and we were like, well, wait, no, like how your brain works is probably very different than how, what makes sense to me. And so there's been so much talk this year about like, you know what, if I just had these, file folders like on the wall and I could throw things in there, like that would be amazing. So there's been a lot of conversation about next year I'll do this. But at the end of the day, they, I think, are really proud of the product that came to be, and I think we're really supportive of their colleagues. They don't know this yet, but they did share a couple of organizational materials with us because our GLL said, can K-4 teachers have any spreadsheets, checklist, things that they put together that might help us, and so they shared those with Karen and I so that we can kind of share with the team. So I think there was a lot of anxiety, and they realized, something, the biggest thing was really the shift in thinking that it was just like, what are we grading here? Mm-hmm. So often it's compliance. Oh, they work really hard. But it's like, can they do all of these pieces of the standard and in its entirety? Like I remember when I was in the classroom, I used to sit with my colleagues every grading period and we'd say, well, what would a 4, which was kind of like the high, like mastery, look like at this time of year? We're not doing that because it's the end game is the standard in its entirety. So I think it's really just shifting that thinking. And once the thinking is shifted, people go, oh, okay, I got it. This isn't so bad. So it's, I think, a little more paper and some things to organize. But at the end of the day, I think they're very proud.
When you're done, sorry.
Of course.
So one thing specific to Morse teachers, because that's the building I've been in now for, thankfully, 7 years. And even throughout the pandemic, the teachers, I can say firsthand, worked tirelessly when the standards had shifted for that period of time. And obviously we were honing in on, okay, learning has changed, what do we expect kids to do? But every time we sit with them through grade level leader meetings, PLCs, when we're in there, they are already talking about the standards because of course as teachers, that's what we're going to do. So
for them, as much as like, I don't wanna say it's not a heavier lift, they do it. I mean, they are.
They're doing it internally.
They're doing it, and they're even doing it externally through Schoology and through assignments. I see it even as a parent firsthand with kids, you know, with the upper levels. Things are tagged with certain standards, and it's a wealth of information. So to Ms. Souza's point, for teachers and kids to know what it is they're learning, but also from the parent perspective, it's been hugely helpful, because what is a C or what is a B versus, or an A or an A plus versus what can they really do? So I don't wanna say it's not a lot more work, because they do a ton of work each and every day, but that's their mindset all the time, is what standards and how are we assessing those standards, and it's just a different way of.
And I didn't say it out loud to the team, but the grade level leaders, the Morse Pond grade level leaders, sorry, there's so many, we're always in a grade level leader meeting, always. There was a conversation had at the last week's meeting that I sat back and thought, oh wow, they've come so far. Do you know when you start seeing things clicking and like they were like questioning each other and go, there was just so much understanding, and that's a very cool thing to see, because it is a huge shift. We have been in this traditional like mindset. I mean, most of our professions, right, that's just how we operate. And so, you know, kudos to them, because it was really like this past week that I thought, oh, that was an interesting conversation, like really insightful about like just the real nuances of how to operate. So I think they're in a good place.
And the last thing I would add to what Erin and Sarah have said is that those proficiency scales that are teacher-facing documents.
Yeah.
That kind of outline what a skill looks like at the different levels. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out. And that was the other thing we heard from the elementary. At first, when they sat down to do their grades, there was a little bit of a panic, like, I have to actually do this now. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, and they got out the binders that we made with the proficiency scales. They said it was just so much easier to look and go, yeah, this kid, this is what they're doing, it's right here, this is where they are. So leaning in on those teacher-facing documents is important as well.
I have one more question, it's an easy one.
Oh, I don't know.
This is a standard rubric, whatever slide this is, I've dealt with these before, right? And you have the standard rubric, and then you put it into the overall, that same rubric is the first section on the report card.
It's the same one, yeah.
But here's the curveball. Morse Pond, they have 2 teachers. So how do you do that general, because in elementary school, you would have 1 teacher check all
So
the.
I'm actually gonna let one of the teachers chime in, because they do that now.
Alright.
They do that now, so.
We have common planning time
Okay.
with our co-teachers every week. So when it comes to that portion, I'm filling it out for the kids in my homeroom, but I'm collaborating with the other 2 teachers that have them, and we come to a consensus together.
I'm just interested, rubrics are totally opposite. You know, no, they shouldn't be, but I'm just saying if you two work together, it's like, thank you so much.
Katrina, thank you very much. This is a real reminder of last year's conversation. I love seeing the consistency from what you've done before, and I'm wondering, I have sort of 2 questions. One of them is this going on up past into 7th, 8th, 9th through 12th grade? Are you redoing grading report cards going upward?
We talked about practices in their classrooms around priority standards, but not changing the face of the report card or anything at this time.
Okay. The other question has more to do with parent feedback. So there's so much in this loop of the teacher working through all of this, and the staff and teachers, and so it's sort of a 2-part question. I heard you saying that the upcoming 5th grade will already be familiar, and the 6th grade class, maybe their parents might have participated in the process, but was there any outreach specifically for this Morse Pond process to parents and families and caregivers? Specifically for the
We didn't set up an additional series of forums because we were building off of the work that we had been doing over the past few years as we had set the stage for at the meeting last May.
Okay. And then a follow-up to that, have you received any feedback from the elementary school parents and families and staff? I heard some feedback about staff, so you talked about that, but more so from the parent perspective. I've heard differing opinions about it, and I'm wondering if there's been any formal feedback opportunity for how that's gone in the last year.
I would think that would be like more building based with their own principals. As far as feedback directly to Erin and I, no. But that's not really our role either. So Yeah.
All right, and I had asked this question last year, but I'm just wanting to refresh my memory. The, when I was looking through you had a link in here for the DESE website, the descriptions of the equity and the standards being, having it be met as the equitable way to do it. I have heard a lot of, mostly parents, I don't think I've actually heard this from staff, but parents saying, what happened to exceeds expectations? How do I know if my child is really excelling? And I did read the description of, they would get some stuff inside the report about where they're excelling.
Yep, and we talked, I think, I know that came up last year as well. We were really, through all of the research that we did and over the years, we had some scales that went above and went above. At the end of the day, the end of the line is the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not mean that opportunities for enrichment are not still happening, that they're happening everywhere. Every day, teachers are looking to meet kids where they are. And that the talk, even amongst the staff, was how do we communicate that, and that was through the conferences, through the comments. But at the end of the day, the standard was the standard. And if we say that there's further to go, we're moving the finish line at a grade level. But again, it doesn't mean there aren't opportunities for kids that need them.
Anyone else? I would just like to say as a parent, it wasn't so long ago that my kids were at the elementary level and then going on to Morse Pond. So having it look the same, I would think would be very helpful for parents going through that transition. And having the comments in the beginning is amazing because I remember as a kid, my parents, when we used to get them in a folder, the first thing my mom did was flip it over and read the comments, some of which are still talked about. And I did that with my own kids. My husband and I would do the same thing. There were times that I will admit that I didn't always even look at the elementary level. I didn't always even look on the inside because I was so excited about the comments. And I love the fact that Clipper Habits is really is in the forefront. Did you say it was on the first page?
Yes.
Yes.
Top
So
left, above the fold.
I love that we're not siloed in each grade level and not just like kindergarten or first grade. I just mean like the elementary level, the Morse Pond level, the junior high, and then the high school level. I love that the Clipper Habits is something that we've embraced at the younger level. Because it doesn't just happen when you arrive to Falmouth High School. Like it has to be embroidered into the thread, so into the fabric. So thank you for all, and of course thank you for all your work and what have you.
Melissa, can I speak as a parent too?
We don't often do, but yes, please.
Thank you, I really appreciate that.
Of course.
As a parent of a Morse Pond student, this has hit well. It hasn't impacted our family a lot, but I do have an accelerated learner. And the problem with losing exceeds expectations is that it doesn't get transferred from one teacher to the next or from one school to the next. And you lose that information. We have lost that information. And then we have to become that child's advocate because we lose it in the report card. So it has negatively impacted our report cards and our communication from teacher to teacher to not have exceeds expectation in the report cards anymore. So at this older level, it's important to keep that in.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Sure. All right, that's great. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your update. I hope you're all doing Getting back on track, we have the update from the superintendent.
All right, thank you. So as I had stated before, I'll give a update at every meeting about the North Falmouth Elementary project. We are expecting the engineer's report, hopefully on Friday. Of course, I don't expect some information to come out after that, but we'll definitely have to spend some time reviewing the report and understanding it, which may require some phone calls in touch with both the town and the engineer. And then following that would be the report will inform the insurance company, so then we should have some more information about Maya's contribution to that last 1/3 cost that they had mentioned. And then we'll get information out as soon as we can, so we're still in the process, still monitoring everything. Everyone, we're moving along in that process and preparing for the summer work. Talking about summer work, the summer projects, just want to go over everything that's going to be going on in our schools this summer. We have the North Falmouth Elementary and the Falmouth High School solar canopies in parking lots. Falmouth High School Project Adventure, that project will get started. We'll have that finally. That's been a few years that we've been working toward.
That's happening this summer?
So we're getting that done. The Teaticket and Mullen Hall playgrounds will be installed. The Mullen Hall Outdoor Learning Center will be completed. The interconnecting classroom door locks that we've talked about as part of our safety measure when not the hallway door, but between the classrooms that you can go through. So as a safety measure, making sure that those have interlocking doors. So we've just recently been approved from the town to be able to do that. And then it took some research to figure out what would be the best and safest and easiest way to do those interlocking doors. So those are going to be installed. We, of course, on our capital plan every year, we have purchased new cameras. And so there'll be camera installation in different buildings across the district. For the Green School Works grant, we'll be doing the East Falmouth and Teaticket soil testing. And then flooring projects, as we had talked before, it's a lot easier if we can do it, have the encumbrance on the district side. And we will be doing projects at Mullen Hall, East Falmouth, and Teaticket this year, and also we'll have painting projects going on at East Falmouth and Teaticket. So lots of moving parts. Kudos to Paul, his staff, Kevin Pimentel as our district project coordinator is just fantastic, and we'll be being able to work with Paul and make sure that all of these projects are happening in the summer. There's a lot going on, so thank you for that. Also, what's going on in the summer is summer learning. And so we have it all stationed at the high school now. And so we have our ESY, our Extended School Year program. Jackie Meyer, a 4th grade teacher at North Falmouth Elementary, will be the coordinator this summer. So we're glad to be able to have people interested in that, and different people each summer apply. And so Jackie will be our coordinator. She's doing a great job along with Audra and Sandy in getting everything set up for our students and being ready to roll with that. Also at the Falmouth High School, we have the Falmouth High School programs, credit recovery, that happens. Something new this year that we're really proud of that's going to be offered is AP Chem and AP Bio preview. So there will be some pre-work done to help the kids have a greater success when they take the course during the school year. So we're excited that we're going to be able to offer that. We also have the Lawrence School program happening at the high school. That's sort of the current 7th and 8th grade students. It's a supportive measure for greater success the following school year. Something new this year that we're adding in is for our 8th grade students will receive 1 elective credit for participating in the summer. Again, this is helping prepare our students to be successful in the next grade level. It's for math and English, and they are Falmouth Public Schools teachers that are providing the course in the elective, so excited about that. Camp Invention still going on here in Falmouth, so we'll have 1 week. It will be located at the high school, and that's for our elementary students. And then our multilingual learners, they will do 2 weeks working with our students this summer. So that's the summer learning. So summer projects and summer learning. I'm going to move on to the next item is the state budget. I'm happy to say that the Senate approved the fair share portion of the House of Representatives, the 50,000 is gonna go to the Teaticket playground. So we're excited that that moved along. So it just is, we'll be waiting for the governor's signature, and I don't see why that would be held up. So we're pretty confident that money will be passed along. So that will go to the large pot that's been growing and growing to ensure that the entire playground can be done. And so that kind of tipped us over the top that we were in good shape, and we will not have to apply to the CPC funding. Also in the state budget, in the fair share that was approved, an additional $152 million to supplement the budget, the FY27 budget for circuit breaker. So there'll be some additional funding going in that direction. So that's exciting. And what we were kind of concerned about, whether there was going to be any money set aside next year for the Green Schoolworks, but when the fair share came out, there's $25 million set in for the Green Schoolworks. And as we had mentioned before, we could only apply for one, school each year. We applied for one. This would give us an opportunity to come before you this coming year and possibly be able to apply for a second grant. So we'll board it later. I'm just glad to see it in the budget. Some Clipper news. Our graduation was fantastic. I wanted to just mention something new that some of you were there, you may have noticed. There were some of our multilingual learners that were wearing stoles that represented the American flag, so the American side, but also the colors of their flag from our home country. And it was just, to me, it was just a beautiful addition. And so that was very nice. We also had Victoria Thelo present when she did her speech, and she provided some of her speech in Portuguese. Also, I think it was just a beautiful addition to the graduation. Yesterday, our school celebrated Juneteenth, and in honor of that, students were doing the walks in the schools. They may not have done the 2.5 miles, but they were walking in honor of Opal Lee. And during those walks, they had the stories, the Juneteenth book and the stories, and in other places, just like we did the town walk, just learning about Juneteenth and what it's about. One of the, a special thing that was shared was that there were teachers of the younger grades actually reading and then discussing with the students. And so captured pictures, and it's pretty special that all of our students of all ages get to be a part and try to understand the meaning behind Juneteenth. We had a delicious lunch served yesterday in honor of Juneteenth, and then we had some drum performances at the 3 upper schools. So it was an exciting day. Okay. Also this month is Pride Month, and just wanted a reminder that the town is hosting the block party again at the rec center this Friday from 4:30 to 7. So it was a huge hit last year in honor of Pride Month, and so the town is putting that on again, and we're very appreciative of that. Now, to my next one, I can grab a few things here. This was pretty cool. We have a fantastic relationship with those in charge of the Cape Cod Marathon. And several years ago, Mr. Afarian came to me and said that they wanted to find a new location for their start and finish line. And he had already worked out the whole map for the marathon, and it began at Mullen Hall. And I welcome that because our schools should belong to our community. And so one weekend in the fall, they are at Mullen Hall. It's continued to grow. They are so appreciative of being able to be there. They absolutely love it. I can't express enough of what they say. And so in honor of being able to be at Mullen Hall, they have, and these are, to show you and pass them around so you can see them. So this is the actual marathon, and this is the, if they come across the finish line, right, they get this. But this is something pretty cool because she turned it and you have a picture of Mullen Hall. And so this is the new medal, and they get it, so this is for the marathon. This is for the half marathon, so they also have a roll of the half marathon, and same thing, the designer did it. So you have the picture of Mullen Hall there. I'm telling you, they were so excited about being at Mullen Hall, this is great. And then the 5K, and so the 5K is a turtle. And then it also shows marathon, so everyone, or the Mullen Hall, so everyone gets to see. So they brought these, we can't keep them, and this is for 2026, you gotta run the race to get one. But they did, they came by to let us share what, so that was, yeah. And so just some other cool gear. They started the kids race. And so they get the very big, cool rubber thing if the kids come and do it. So they're really promoting kids, and the kids get sunglasses and all kinds of things. So yes, I feel like I'm promoting it, but I think it's a very cool thing, and I think it's great. The kids absolutely love it. And then, I know, I mean, they just walk by all this stuff. I just never ending. Okay, so here we go. Shipwreck is sponsoring. So, if they're different shirts and stuff, so there's a whole bag of stuff if you wanna see it, but the cool thing that I thought that they added was you actually have a picture of Mullen Hall on the award, so just wanted to share that, very cool. All right, and just the last thing on my update is our first meeting for the Lawrence School Building Committee is next week. It's an organizational meeting, and we are going to be off and running then with that. So again, thank you, the two members from the school committee, Margaret and Susan, will be on the committee as well as 11 others, because it's a committee of 13. The 6th, you wanna say it?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The 16th, I believe, is it 6 o'clock?
In this room, yeah.
Sure. When you were talking about the, there was so much information.
Sorry.
No, it's great, fabulous. The Mullen Hall playground and the Teaticket playground are both being done this summer?
Two different companies, so we were able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we got them.
And what is the Mullen Hall outdoor learner space? Is that the garden?
It's the garden area, and then they're putting in the cement pad, and the PTO was actually kind of designing and building that with the principal, so where the classes can go out and be outside.
Okay.
Right.
Do you know, for people at Mullen Hall who love the playground, do you know if there's plans of what's gonna be done anywhere that they could go look at, or I could tell them, oh, go look for this, and you can see what's gonna happen?
I don't know if do we have the plans of those out, because so the playground itself, it's not all coming down. Over the years, this has been pieces that we've had to remove. So there's some replacement of the current pieces and then putting in new of the ones that we've
Like slides and rings and that.
things that we've had to take down because they just weren't safe anymore.
Okay, so it's not like Teaticket.
It's not, no. Teaticket's getting a brand new and Mullen Hall's getting a refresh. How about that?
Mike.
Two quick questions. The first one might be silly, but what is a door locking deal you talked about?
Interconnecting.
Yeah.
So when the class, so if you have two classrooms.
I get that part, but what kind of a lock? Is just a lock on the doors?
Paul, do you wanna explain what the thing, please?
That's it.
That's right. So the theory being, if someone were to gain access to one room, you don't want to get access to all the other classrooms.
So it's just a key lock?
So just a key lock, yeah.
Okay, and then, thank you, Paul. My second question about the graduation, Lori, you said that a student had spoken in Portuguese for a bit. I don't know if we already do this, but do we offer live translation services?
I don't think we've ever at the graduation, almost every event and all, but we haven't, but that will, if we get to keep that going, we're gonna definitely have that.
Well, because, AI is super smart and cheap, but all right, awesome, thank you so much.
Anyone else? Okay, I have a list, because that was a lot. I'm super excited about the opportunity for AP, Chem and Bio review in the summer specifically, but very excited about all the opportunities that we're offering. So specifically that one, the AP and Bio Chem, because that's a tough class, even for the smarties, and any review we can offer, I think is great to sort of help balance some of that stressor when you're a junior or whatever year you're taking that. Lawrence, I'm also excited that the students, the 8th grade students could get a 1 credit elective going into the high school. Again, anything you can do to help our kids have a something going forward, I think that that's great. As far as the state budget, $50,000 from the state budget, we are earmarked for Teaticket, and then you said that we wouldn't have to apply to CPC for Teaticket, is that accurate?
Yes, so we are, with the governor signing those dollars, we will not go for that emergency. But what we will be doing is applying in August in the regular cycle for the next playground that's determined in the district that needs to be done.
Okay, that was my question, because I just wanted to make sure that we were still on track and that we had enough money.
Yes, we are.
And that this wasn't, I just wanted to make sure I heard all of that correctly, because when I first heard that we weren't gonna apply for CPC, I got a little bit nervous.
No,
And,
we felt, yeah,
but this, the state one is gonna cover, so we don't have to
yes,
ask
and we can
CPC for the
actually
emergency.
do it this summer.
Okay.
Yes.
Graduation always makes me cry. Every single time, I am all the emotions all the time. So I thought that the speech that, and I'm sorry, I do not remember the young lady who spoke so beautifully to her family and to other Portuguese folks in Victoria.
Yeah.
She was amazing. Yes, Vice President.
Yeah.
She did such a beautiful job. And Mike, great suggestion with offering or suggesting live translation in real time. I think that's great, and I think that that needs to happen, however it happens. And then the Cape Cod Marathon stuff. Nick, I think we have a new goal. Nick and I ran years ago, Nick and I with previous, and Kelly's laughing, I know she's laughing, Leah Palmer and previous school committee members and other people in the community, we ran legs of the marathon to benefit Team Maureen. So I noticed that there wasn't one for the group, but maybe there's something coming.
Yeah, no medal for the relay, so
For the relay.
we can't do it.
I bet that, okay.
But
Is that our exit strategy?
No, I'm sure there's no,
It might have some, Nick.
no, Lori didn't have it,
I
didn't happen.
I will talk to the leads on that. and
You
see-
don't have
see
to.
if we can-
I feel like it's fine. Anyway.
Really, I think we've looked into that one enough.
Sure. And that's all I have, and Kelly's clapping. Go ahead.
In regards to graduation and all the graduation activities, I just want to thank the town for the local scholarships of $764,000, I think it was. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal for the town of Falmouth, the community members to be so supportive. Taxpayers, et cetera, have been supportive of us in regards to our efforts for the school system, but for the kids themselves, this is phenomenal.
Yes, I can't believe I missed that, yes, 100%. Margaret?
Well, I was going to do this at the end in terms of, but since we mentioned graduation and Susan mentioned that, I was at the award ceremony, and for the scholarships, there are 12 scholarship information sessions that the seniors received. 110 seniors signed up to attend a scholarship help session. In addition, the Falmouth Hall Scholarship Association offered 5 Clipper time sessions to assist our students, our seniors who wanted help completing their scholarship application. 60% of the class of 2026 received $763,928. This was the most that any class at the high school has received. Also at the session, I
I was very interested that the juniors, there are college book awards, and the guidance office receives over 30 book awards from colleges and universities from around the country. These awards support student achievement, and selection is based on their GPA in the top 25% of the junior class, extracurricular activity, and possibly leadership and character. Some awards include a fee waiver, possible scholarship if the student decides to attend that school. And this year we gave college book awards to 35 members of the class of 2028. And 21 students received the seal of biliteracy recognition. I think we really need to thank, as Susan suggested, it's just absolutely incredible what the Falmouth Development Fund gives us. The road race gives us money. There were various scholarships provided in memorial of someone who had died. It was just very impressive. Go back to the page a little bit, hold on. And you know, I think the guidance counselors should be really recommended. They do a tremendous amount of work. They also, by the way, receive these scholarships and decide and put them out. And they've developed, and I've known this for a long time, really great relationships with various colleges. And since I'm talking about it, I also have the privilege of meeting one of our graduates at another event. And he had gone to do his last year in the Netherlands. And then he did 2 years in the Netherlands, and he was leaving for Harvard now. So it's very impressive. And not only do I want to thank the guidance counselors, because I'm sure the entire high school supports this. And our teachers, all of the staff support this. And a shout out to Alan Harris. I was at another event where in fact, one of the members of the event had graduated the year after Alan came. And the man, because he's a man now, said, I want to tell you, the transformation in what he did at our high school was just really noteworthy. And so a shout out to Alan. Any organization that is successful has to have a good leader at the top.
Thank you, Margaret. I see Kelly's hand is up. Ryan, could you please promote her? Oh, she's here.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I just want to jump back to graduation because I couldn't make it, so I taped it for the first time, and I just want to give a shout out to FCTV because the feed was great, the audio was great. You could even see the kids coming off the stage, like being all happy, and you know, for those who can't attend, it's just such a wonderful thing that they offer our community.
Great. Does anyone else have anything? All right.
Feel very regretful that I wasn't able to go to graduation.
You can still do it on FCTV.
My mother's going home from surgery that day, but I'm gonna try and find it. It's still on FCTV.
It is.
because
It's
I loved
circled
it last
for-
year. It was so wonderful last year.
Great. All right, moving on to presentation of the SEPAC, Special Education Parent Advisory Committee.
Sandy Presnell will give us a presentation tonight.
All right, so.
All right, so our CPAC is a special group to help all of our families who have students on IEPs or 504 plans, and the group can offer leadership and guidance and help families kind of navigate the questions that they may have around some of the processes. So last year, as my first role in the district as the Director of Student Services, I was a little bit disappointed with our lack of membership or attendance at some of the CPAC meetings. So over the summer, we really tried to think about what are some things that we could do to try to increase our membership. So at the start of the year, I did write a welcome back letter to families, reminding them of CPAC and what the plans were. We changed the time of the meetings this year. We added, at the end of an IEP meeting, all of the families had a QR code so they could give feedback about the IEP meeting. And then also, within the little survey was, do you want to learn more about CPAC? Do you have any topics that you would like, et cetera. So I think the most successful item was the QR code, because we did get feedback from about 41 families. Not necessarily about CPAC, but we did get feedback about the meetings. So we So we planned our meetings. So in September, we always start with the basic rights, and that presentation is done through the Federation for Children with Special Needs. So that really helps families get a better understanding of what an IEP is, how to read the IEP, and basically what to do if you have questions about it or if you don't disagree with things. And then in October, our chairperson at the time had, again, trying to like seek more input, said, why don't we have a meeting in October to see if families have specific topics that they would like to discuss. And so we had a couple of items that people had brought up, which included some transition planning, a specific organization, the paralegal assistant training program, and then questions about the extended school year. Oops. There we go. Okay. So in November, we had our presentation from the Kennedy Donovan Center. This is a really great resource for all families because they offer services from preschool to age 22 to adults. And there are all sorts of support services that they offer, training, education, connections, social connections, so they can connect with other families who might be going through similar situations. They have skill building classes and opportunities just for advocacy and coaching. So that was our presentation in November. And then in January, the Federation did something different this year than in previous years. They actually shared a calendar of which had meetings throughout the month that families could tune into virtually. So families not only had the things that we were offering, but also some other topics. So one of the topics was emergency preparedness. So this was intended to help families prepare, not just the basic information of making sure you know that you have important documents or medications, medical provider numbers, but also the thought about practicing drills at home. So for students with disabilities, it can be helpful to create a social story, which just kind of outlines, you know, something may happen, this is what we're going to do, and to practice that, especially if you know in advance we're going to have some type of storm, you might have to leave the house, go to another place, the things that you would bring, etc. And then in February, the Department of Education offered a webinar for all of the SEPACs from the PRS, so the Problem Resolution System. So this presentation was focused on helping families understand if there were specific things that they felt like were violations of federal or state educational laws, that there was a formal grievance procedure that they could follow, and they would answer questions about specific complaints that families might have regarding any sort of processes. Could be special education or general education. In March, Audra and I did a presentation for transition planning and a little bit on ESY as well. So as everyone knows, we service students from pre-K to 22, and as students get older, we need to really focus on life after high school, independent living skills, employment, and post-secondary skills. So the students' IEPs focus on what a student vision is, what they want to do when they graduate from high school or finish high school, and our IEP goals and services start to support the students in that direction so that they can reach those goals. And the extended school year, we included just some general information about what the supports look like for the extended school year and how those decisions are made about which students may qualify for the extended school year program. And then in March, part of our membership with the Federation for Children, they offer an opportunity for a virtual conference, and because of the membership, you can have somebody attend, the SEPAC parent can attend for free, so we did offer that to our families as well. And towards the end of the year, in April, we did the paralegal assistant training program, which I've talked about that before the school committee before, but that's always a highlight. I think Katrina came to our presentation, our presenter didn't show up that day, but I think that's a great story to hear about how that program came about and the opportunity for students to be able to work in a courthouse and some of the valuable skills that they can learn, and also how it really promotes inclusion and independence for our students. And then in May, we knew our elections were coming up, so we worked really hard to try to share the information. We had surveys, and I sent out a lot of emails, and we were super excited because we do have a new chair, Amanda Zach. She's gonna be the vice chair. We don't have a chair, so hopefully next year we're gonna continue marketing the SEPAC, but we did come up with some, for the members who did attend that meeting, we did come up for some topics proposed for next year, and I listed those there, so those were the things. So we're really, gonna continue with some of the things that we found successful this year. The interesting thing is, I don't know that our membership increased a whole lot this year. With a variety of topics, we didn't always have the same people, so it might have been 3 people at a meeting, that pertained to something with elementary students, and 3 that came for something that was more for older students. So we're gonna keep try to make the presentations interesting, and we're gonna continue with the members who did attend said that they did like the virtual format, so we're gonna continue that. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Just one, and you just touched on it, the virtual format. You know how like the ELL group does a party of food, or right? That's what you said? I don't know I know virtual, because I used to do it prior to Katrina.
Yeah.
Virtual is helpful, but I mean, maybe 1 or 2, like in person with stuff. 'Cause I know, and then I know it's not one registration, but that was for the conference, which is not real, but we have a good amount of students in IEPs. And when I was on the CPAC, and I'm sure Katrina can say it as well, people don't come to those. You get a handful at best, and there has been sometimes with me and Terry. So, just something, I don't know.
I know.
So thank you for all your hard work.
So we'll try, we can offer the in-person, then sometimes childcare could be difficult, but I think a lot of our topics.
Like once to start the year.
And even the topics that we have, if we have a topic that's for younger children anyway, it may be just fine to bring my kids, so.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is the time to have an ideas session. I can send you an email, or Mike and I can brainstorm, or anybody, but the kindergarten registration and the back to school night, do you have a table at those?
Not usually.
Elementary schools? Like the bank has one for banking with school and that sort of thing, but if you were present at that, or if you made a trip to a different PTO meeting a couple times a year at different schools, or tried to get the meeting times into the newsletters that go out. I like the food idea, I had that too, offering people food. And the PTOs usually have, childcare at the PTO meeting. So if you kind of buddied up with a PTO meeting, you could at least boost maybe some information sharing about it while people are already there. They're not very well attended always either, but
It's hard for people to.
Oh, and the return address, the email address was the other one, because I think people don't recognize that it's coming from Falmouth Public Schools. That was the feedback I got about the emails, and so I don't know if it's possible to get a different return address that looks more like Falmouth Public Schools, CPAC, obvious, but that was, maybe we can brainstorm on a side session.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy, appreciate it. Okay, next up, we have the first read on the handbooks. Lori, you want to take that?
Sure. So, in your package, you have the handbook. It's not the full handbook, it's just the sections of the revisions for this year. And this did go to policy subcommittee. They reviewed and they recommended that we bring it for the first read to the committee. So you can see the, the topics that we discussed, the standards of dress, Those of you that are new, you're gonna see that, everything's in the red with the yellow highlight, that's new. If you go through, we addressed, the cell phones, I think it was, and the visitors to schools. And I think that was it this year that we took on. Every year we try to take on, something new. Oh, we did the due process. So every year, different sections, we try to keep revising and updating. And then also the exclusion from school during cases of disease outbreaks.
Is that brand new?
Yes. So we did that, hold on, I keep going. This is, I don't remember when we wrote this. The non-discrimination, including harassment and retaliation, updates to that section that reflects the, I did say due process. Yep, got that. Okay. That was any questions or comments about any of those sections? And I'm gonna.
I just have one question now. Who was on the policy committee when these recommendations or changes were made?
Myself, Terry, and Glenda.
Yes.
Any other question? Am I? Go ahead.
Thank you. I have two, cell phone use of visibility, I don't know whatever page, this is 7. Or use the cell phone with return only to a parent. So no matter what the age of the student, we're giving I'm sorry, it's page 7 on the top, Lawrence electronic devices. Yeah. We're giving the parents are coming into the building to get the phone?
If the student is not using, or not following directions?
Yep.
So let me give, yes. So, from the elementary schools up through 8th grade, we have a bell-to-bell, so they need to be in their backpack, locker, but out of the classroom.
Okay.
Cannot be with them. Yeah. So if, for some reason, the student doesn't follow that rule, then yes, the parent may be, asked to come in to get the cell phone, yeah.
And I have one more question. I did the, the La Capella concert last Wednesday. And they're doing it Friday, right after the Pride festivities at the rec center, right? So, I'm sorry, going off topic here, but taking pictures without prior permission of administrator or student is forbidden. I don't know how we would enforce that. Like at a concert, you know what I'm saying? Or is that just for, like PTO things, or I know that some kids are in the no film list, but I don't know how that's enforceable like a big concert,
So we typically do not ever do that when it's a concert. Of course, the high school plays and musicals have to be, so there's no filming or because that we're purchasing the rights to the scripts, but usually it's situations where students are speaking or students are, so it's always identified at the time when it's not appropriate to take pictures.
That's my only question, because at the concert, we were all up on the top of Lawrence and people taking pictures and I'm like.
Yeah, concerts, events, yes, that's, we want parents to take pictures of their kids.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Anyone else? Katie?
So is there any kind of amendment to that stating about, if it is a concert or some kind of an event, not to then post other students to social media?
Yeah, so it is a good question. Does a policy sub want to take that one back up?
We can, sure. So just so that I'm clear, you want to put an amendment in if parents are filming their student at a concert to not post it to social media?
Well, I would even say, they could post their child, but the sticky part is if it's a group of kids and they're posting it to their social media, or if it's field day or something like that, or parents are chaperoning on a field trip and they're posting other children on social media.
Sure.
Without their parents' permission.
Have we had a complaint of that, of the parents who have children on the no film that would be,
I'm not aware of any.
not aware of any
No,
complaints.
Hold on. At concerts.
Sure.
So the big events that you're talking about, we have not. We have had complaints of pictures being taken of students, at, smaller events, or when students are, speaking,
Sure.
not to have it posted.
Okay, Margaret, I see you, but I still want to tease this out. So, if there have not been complaints, and I'm concerned with if we take this to policy, what would be the enforcement? So we, the district, would then have a policy to families, please be mindful of, other students kind of thing. But there's gonna be the excited Nana who watches, somebody playing their flute and there's other kids in the background. What is it when you're, what is it called when you're accidentally in the back, there's a name for it, I'm sorry, it escapes me now.
I think I'm talking about something more specific than someone who's just happenstance to be sitting next to the flute player that's being
Sure.
highlighted.
Okay.
So I think the hard part is, I know in other school systems, they have a statement in there, please do not post to social media. Obviously, the policing of that or enforcing that
Sure.
is very difficult. But if it's written,
But at least
that's-
we can say,
we can at least say,
Okay.
please do not do that.
I see, okay.
Out of respect for the other families, because there are a lot of families that maybe don't do the do not photo,
Sure.
but then they don't want their kid
Yep.
on Facebook and then tagged and triple tagged and all
Sure.
the other functions that Facebook can do.
Thank you.
So it's just more of an awareness, please just keep it within your child and don't post to social media.
Gotcha.
Especially when it's school sponsored, like a field trip or a field day or something else.
Great, thank you, very helpful. Any other questions or concerns, Katrina?
So there's
I'm sorry, I put off Margaret.
Oh, sorry,
Please hold it, I'm sorry. Sorry,
No,
Margaret,
I
go ahead.
think what we're talking about is maybe if the policy looks at the notion of pictures in regards to social media. I think the whole issue of, posting on social media becomes the issue that you're talking about, particularly if there are other students involved. Yeah.
Okay,
So there might be some statement about social media and
Okay.
policy.
thank you, sorry, Katrina.
That's okay, no worries. Sorry, where did I start? There was an edit on the first page, bullet number 4 on the first page, when enforcing these standards address, it says this. And I thought maybe that should be these.
What page is that page?
Very first page, standards address, number 4.
FHS standards.
When enforcing this standards of dress, do we want it to be these? Anyway, it's just an
sure.
edit.
Yep,
On the next page, same thing, failure to comply with these standards of dress instead of just failure, on item 6.
thank you.
Failure to comply with standards of dress, maybe it should be these standards of dress. Further down, under 7, in the second bullet, I've seen this in other districts with the language that we have here. I personally just feel very uncomfortable having the word sexually provocative in here, and profane and obscene, because they're such subjective terms that it's really up to the beholder to determine whether they think something is sexually provocative. And when I think of the word sexually provocative, I'm thinking of a girl and I'm thinking of girl's dress, which genderizes it and potentially just opens the door to somebody making a judgment call that basically amounts to a Title IX problem. And so I don't like that language, and I wanted to just raise that.
If I could,
In a moment,
yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna let her finish, thank you.
Just remember sexually provocative, Mike, you can come.
I remember that.
So that's that. I think maybe leaving out subjective things, because like alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, illegal drugs, weapons, those are objective facts. We know what those are. It's up to somebody's determination whether something, if you're gonna call somebody on being sexually provocative or obscene, it's very subjective. On the next page, page 3, the Lawrence dress code, I had this problem last year, and I just still don't like the language here because it says, students will not be otherwise discriminated against so long as their dress and appearance meet the requirements. And so we're basically saying we condone discrimination in this instance if you don't comply with the dress code, and then we have a discrimination and harassment clause further on, which is the absolute opposite of that. And so it doesn't make sense to me, and when I read the paragraph, it sounds like we're saying, don't worry, we won't discriminate against you as long as you dress the way we have said to dress. And I think it just sounds like we're saying that we plan to discriminate against you if you don't do what we want, which I don't agree with. My next question is underneath that, the formalized dress for success. Why have we gone from policy to initiative? Is it no longer a policy? Dress for success?
Correct, sure, go ahead. It's not listed as a policy, right, within the policy manual. It was under the, initially for Lawrence, it was under the innovation school, and then it sort of moved itself into the handbook. So I guess it's a policy in as much as you approve it as part of the handbook, but it doesn't have, I don't believe, the call letters of like the policy manual.
Okay.
So trying to distinguish it from the file.
So does that change the enforceability of it in any way?
No, you're still voting it, so it is in essence.
No, I mean the enforceability of it. If it's not a policy that this is the dress code, it's the handbook, the initiative, does
The
that
handbook
change?
is voted by the committee,
Yes,
and once that's voted, then that's enforceable.
okay, it becomes policy, okay. This is a funny question, but who measures the skirts? It's gonna sound stupid, but we had the Lawrence School Choir performing for us. Several of the girls last year were in skirts that were not longer than their fingertips. Is somebody out there with a ruler? There was a girl in the Clipper Corner article on April 17th. She was in the newspaper wearing a skirt that did not look like it was longer than her fingertips. So I'm just curious, how is this enforced? And again, with the gender stuff and potential for harassment, if you have somebody, boys are not typically going to be wearing skirts in our town, from what I've seen. We just don't have that kind of culture here, so it's going to be girls. And this does not seem enforceable unless you really have someone out there calling them out for having skirts that are too short, which is just such a weird, messy territory. So I know this is a school thing. It's the handbook, and it's not necessarily a school committee thing, but since we're called to approve the handbooks, the whole thing is arbitrary and bizarre to me, and I've spoken about that at great length. Then I won't do that again this year because you've heard me. But the skirt thing is very troubling to me because I don't understand who would enforce that or how it would be enforced, and whether there have been incidents where that has been enforced, and how did that go down, and are we potentially liable for something if a teacher says you're wearing a skirt that's too short and then somebody says you're harassing me, It's one of those weird, mushy, gray, horrible areas.
Jane?
I'm gonna use my principal voice here.
Thank you.
So, I understand where you would make the connection in terms of, focusing on girls and gender and so forth. But the part that sometimes gets forgotten when we see all these no's and don'ts and so forth is that some of these expectations, which I prefer to call them that instead of rules, is that it protects some young women from becoming, objects of ridicule or so forth because of their dress. It is probably the most awkward part of a principal's job is monitoring this, but I do think that in certain circumstances it is very, very much necessary to protect kids. So I think sometimes if you could just try to look at it from a different lens or a different point of view, it might help a little bit.
Oh, I hear that completely. I understand what you're saying. I know that there have been instances where having a hood up has been an offense that somebody calls you out in the hallway and says, put your hood down. So I just don't know how that would go with skirts. It just seems more tricky to me. But the high school Lawrence electronic devices, there was no change for this with high school. Is that
correct? We're waiting because of the bill.
State.
The bill. So it's so in essence, the bell-to-bell, we were in compliance. We made the changes to actually use the bell-to-bell language because that's what would be required. The high school we're waiting because if it goes through the way it is, we would have to make changes. So instead of making changes right now, we're gonna wait. We'll make changes when they're needed to be made, if it passes.
Well, I appreciated the consistency of the bell-to-bell language and how that might match up with the state if we do get that, and having it across elementary through.
And it was because we were doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So if we were just using the
That
same.
makes sense. And consistency, I love to see. So the last thing here, I think, that I have is the visitors to schools. In the second, well, there's a sentence and then the first real paragraph. Visitors, including parents and guardians, while invited, cannot interfere. I don't know if we want to have while warmly invited or while invited to visit. It's a little weird to say while invited cannot, like, it sounds to me like as long as they're invited, like while they're invited, during the time that they're invited. But I think what you're trying to say, maybe I've misinterpreted, I thought what we were trying to say here was while they are, of course, invited, have to follow these guidelines. Does that make sense?
It does, I feel like it's wordsmithing. But...
No, okay, fine. I disagree, but that's fine. So down, students, the second to last paragraph, students may not have visitors during the school day, period. Full stop. But then up here, you can go and visit and have cafeteria lunch with your child. So what's the...
I think the spirit of that is that your boyfriend can't show up or, spend the day with you. But of course, your parent can come, your grandparent can come and have lunch. I mean, I could be wrong in that.
I mean, this is all in handbooks, so I was thinking like elementary as well as high school. So it's, to me, it just is confusing language to say you can't have visitors and then there's all this description of visitors.
Excuse me, is visitors meaning in that paragraph non-family members?
I don't even think we thought about that, quite honestly.
Visitors, any visitors, right? So, but each elementary school that does the lunch, it's very specific. It's on specific days. They have to come in and sign it. There's a whole protocol that's so it's in general, that is true. You can't just have people come and visit during the school day.
Right, okay.
I think we should add the word unapproved to that.
That's a good one.
Maybe some clarifying word, yeah. And then the other question there was, I kind of understand that this is maybe directed more at the high school, but since it's under all handbooks, and just in general, the language I didn't understand. Child care of siblings or other relatives is not permitted on school grounds. This is the bottom of page 10. Does that mean a parent can't bring a sibling with them while they're visiting, or does it mean that a student cannot be watching their sibling while they're at school?
It means a student can't be watching a sibling.
It's not completely clear to me, which is why I'm asking whether there's some other way of expressing that, so it's obvious that we're saying a student can't.
I would think saying a sibling is the key word in the context clues in that sentence, that we don't need to tease out parent or...
Well, as a person who has a sibling of a child in school and then you bring the sibling with you when you're doing something.
Katrina, we're not expecting high school students to have their elementary at their desk side. That's the spirit of the conversation. Certainly, we allow parents to bring other siblings in when they're visiting their other kids.
Okay, I get that you understand what it means. I'm telling you, I didn't understand what it means because it's about visitors to school and parents there. We've had all this conversation about going to the cafeteria and volunteering, and it sounded to me, okay, I want it to be really clear to people. That's all. Like, what's the harm in saying specifically students cannot offer childcare of their siblings?
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a big ask.
Okay. Is that it?
I believe so.
Okay. Kelly, you're up.
I only have, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I only have one thing. In the section under Lawrence electronic devices, the 5th bullet down that begins with text messaging. I'm wondering if the end of that paragraph that says confiscation of cell phone could say device instead, because you can be text messaging on a smartwatch, on an iPad, on a laptop, and if we just say device, it would cover all of those things.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. Mike?
To follow up on Kelly's point, which was a good one, the second tab, second bullet point, cell phone use with visibility. I'm assuming Kelly, you'd want the same idea there too? Same page, like 3 dots up.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that one. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you. And then my other thing, if I could, just a clarification for Katrina, the sexually provocative, I didn't forget. Burned in my brain. That's clothing that depicts. Like in high school, we had like co-ed naked volleyball. So it's not somebody dressed provocatively, it's what they wear in their t-shirts. And I have other examples, don't want to say them at the meeting, but that is a common thing that high school kids wear, and you know, the fishing stuff, yeah. So that's what it talks about, not somebody dressing subjectively provocative.
That's a great way to put that, thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay, depicts, advertises, or advocates, thank you, Maggie, that's helpful. Thank you.
And I think that the discretion of the administrator is, you know, we really have to have faith in their discretion and their judgment, because as somebody who has seen some really objectionable t-shirts worn by students, I appreciate it when an administrator makes a judgment that, you know, other students looking at that are not comfortable. And so that's, you know, judgment is part of enforcement.
Thank you, I missed the context and I was imagining low shirts and like somebody judging that. Okay, great.
Great, anyone else? All right, seeing none, moving on to act on EL text and materials as surplus.
Sorry, you want to speak to that?
I was gonna say so moved.
Oh.
Did we want to hear that first? No? Okay. Okay, Mike makes a motion, I'm gonna second it.
Are we giving this discussion? Oh, sorry, okay.
Did I? Oh God, I sure did. I am so sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you for keeping me on track. We're gonna go back to the first read on school committee assignments. So I have in my notes that when the packet went out, we didn't have enough information, and we would like to move this to next time with a vote. And if there are any questions on this, you can email Kelly or myself if you'd like. Just again, at the time, we didn't have everybody's preferences on the subcommittees, so we just we would like to move it to the next meeting and then have it not be a first read, just be a vote.
Can I ask why? Why would that?
We just didn't have enough, not everybody responded.
Okay.
And we just wanted to be fair to everybody.
And why would it not be a first read versus?
We never used to do it before. We
You
always
never
just,
did a first read?
not usually.
Okay.
We always just kinda, in years past, what we did, at the first meeting, the first meeting after the election, many years ago, the chair would reach out and say, I think that you might be interested in this, is that something, there was more of a conversation, more of like a pleasantry kind of thing. It has sort of morphed into send your requests in kind of thing. I think Kelly and I would like to have a conversation, if there's, have a conversation / see an email or some kind of a phone call, a text, or something, kind of reaching out. So, that being said, we didn't have everyone's opinion on it, so we are hopeful to have everyone's thoughts on where they might like to land next year. And just because everybody wants to be on one thing, we'll have to make a decision. So we're gonna do the very best we can to be as fair as humanly possible.
So does that, when you say decision, do you mean before the committee, or is that something outside of the committee?
What do you mean?
I'm just trying to learn the process.
Okay,
So let's just say you happen to get 5, 6 people that wanted to be on budget.
Sure.
So decision would be made outside of it after you individually spoke with members, or is that a discussion for the group?
No, we would probably reach out to the 5 members and just say, there's been a multitude of you, is this something that you're extraordinarily passionate about? And that conversation has happened offline in the past as well, or the chair has reached out, and perhaps other people sitting at the table can speak to this. Hey, we're kind of heavy on this. I know you've done this for the last couple of years. How do you feel about moving to this, to give a new person an opportunity on this? It's always been a pleasant conversation, or at least, I find it pleasant, but like, I always find it to be a dialogue kind of thing moving up. We have to vote on it. It is one of those things that we have to vote on, so, it looks like Kelly's trying to say, go ahead, Kelly.
No, the only piece I wanted to add is that, more often it's not, are you super passionate about this? It's looking for people to fill the empty slots, because there were, I don't have all of them yet, but there's a lot of empty spaces. And so it might be a little bit of begging that Melissa and I do to ask people to fill empty spaces so we have them all covered.
So in following up to that, in Kelly's email, she had asked us to respond to just her, so I followed that request.
That's fine, sure.
And then she also asked about any new committees, which she and I have spoken about a couple of times, because I did ask if we could add curriculum instruction and achievement as a subcommittee. So we've had a couple of preliminary conversations about that, and I didn't know if there would be like how that decision gets made, what's the process, or if is it possible for me to speak to the committee about why I feel that would be important to add, or I just am trying to learn what the process is.
Yeah, Melissa, oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead, Cal.
Oh, I did chat with Melissa about that too, and we think we have a strategy. So we can either, share that out ahead of time. Hopefully I'll have everything sorted on that document, and we can send that out, early enough that everybody will have plenty of time to be informed before the next meeting. I'm certainly not opposed to, holding off. If it's Janie, it sounds like you're concerned about having ample time. We can do a first read at the next meeting, and then the next, if you feel like that's going to, work better. It doesn't make any difference, I don't think in terms of.
Maybe I need a scaffold here.
That's
I'm not
okay.
sure.
That's okay.
So just trying to understand, and you just even learn, because even though a lot of districts have the same committees, there obviously can be run very differently.
Sure.
So it's just trying to help my learning curve, that's all.
Okay, great.
So, thank you, Kelly.
Linda.
So, from my understanding, the Building Needs Committee is not one of the standing committees. It's a annual, if the chair decides that that's a committee that is valuable to have. And last year, I know Susan and you, Melissa, worked on it. And this year, it's the Lawrence Building Committee. But I'm wondering if there's a role for, and maybe you've already decided to have a Building Needs Committee, but given the North Falmouth roof, some of the other projects, I'm wondering if there is a role for a building committee.
Melissa, can I take that one?
Please.
I completely agree with you, and that's why we left it on the list so that people could ask for it. What we didn't put on was the Lawrence Building one, because we already voted on those people last year. So yeah, I just didn't put it on because I didn't want people to think that they could sign up for it, because we already voted for Sue and Margaret to do it last year. So they will still hold that role, and the building needs will still be open, because I completely agree with you. There's a lot of building stuff going on, so we need to have that standing for sure.
Is that helpful?
Yes, so maybe you could send out a list of the committees that are available this year, because I'm sure of what committees are available to sign up for, so that would be helpful. I mean, I know.
Do you mean like the
well,
do you mean like the
so
empty ones that people haven't signed up for yet?
Well, so there's some question of what are our committees this year? So if you, I know we've already expressed our interest, but if there are new committees or committee.
Oh, I got you.
Just keep the list together to say, these are the committees that we want to have for this coming year. You know, because I didn't know that we were gonna have a building committee again. So.
We can do that. Mike, I think.
Because I thought it was just the Lawrence designee, you know, I know that Lawrence is a separate project. So.
Was it not was it not on the list? People
Was it on the
requested it.
list?
Yeah, people
Yes.
requested it.
Okay.
It was on the list.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, Mike, I think you're next.
Yeah, just quickly, Kelly, I'll send you some more of the down ballot committees, as you know, because I'm assuming that's what happened. And then briefly to Jamie, to your point, remember last year, people added and subtracted or swapped, and if I could, I think Margaret added on the committee because there was a time issue with other members, so it does happen at the meeting, so, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Susan had her hand up first.
As we talked, Kelly, I would appreciate it if that Lawrence, building committee designation is on the list. Asterisk as elected for MSBA requirements or whatever. Mainly because of the time commitment that it's going to require. And otherwise, it may give the appearance that we're not doing our fair share on the subcommittees.
Okay, that's a good one. Nick, if you could.
Lisa, could I just recap what I think I heard the process is, which is that you and Kelly are gonna work on a list, you're gonna send it out at least a few days before our next meeting, so we have a chance to look at it. Then at the meeting, we will discuss and vote it, or will amendments or changes be allowed at that time if anybody feels particularly strongly that, you know, we really wanna have Mike on the party committee, and I wanna be on the party committee, and so we should.
If we could try to iron that out beforehand, just in the interest of
Okay.
time during meetings.
And I
all
might
need to
call
be
up
on
Mike
party
out of the
committee.
meeting and
I'm totally
negotiate
chairing the
that
party
one.
committee,
Okay,
just so.
but theoretically, you would be allowed to make a change at our next meeting if we had to.
If it was
on
something
your
extraordinary, but we're hopeful to have it ironed out before then, so
Gotcha.
it's kind of, I don't wanna say more like a formality, but we're hopeful to have it be like a formality. I
Got it,
guess.
okay, thank you.
Sure. Katrina.
If we're doing new suggestions, the FEA liaison position would be a good one to have on there, because they're contractually, I think, supposed to have 4, and it would be good to designate, like, how that process happens. Is it on there?
Yep.
Is it on there? The FEA liaison?
So I need to look, because I'm sorry.
FEA is not, FEF.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Falmouth Educators
Yes.
Association,
Oh,
the teachers union wants to have listening sessions, and it would be good, I think, to have somebody designated to do that, so that it's really clear
Did
how
we
and
get
when
it?
that happens.
Sorry to interrupt, did we get an email on that? I don't remember hearing from FEA on that.
They said so during their meeting with us, when we went to their survey meeting. And we got notice from them last year that we were supposed to have listening sessions, or no, 2 years ago, I'm sorry.
So listening sessions are a little bit different than a liaison or a subcommittee.
I just think, I don't know if a liaison or a subcommittee is the correct way to do it. I would like it to be designated and clear how that happens, when it happens, and who's responsible for meeting with them.
Okay, we can talk about that, sure. Jane, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. So it sounds like the representation on the Lawrence Building project is a different process because it has to be approved or selectmen, I think, Laura, you
The
said.
select board has
Right.
to approve and then it goes to MSBA.
Okay, so is that like a permanent assignment or is that up for,
when do we have the?
Yep, so, Mark, he had, responded on that, so when you go on the committee, it's assumed that you're on the committee until the committee is no longer needed. But in reality, we know some people may not be able to do the full length of time. So there may be, during that time, people that step off, and then at that point, the select board would be reappointing or interviewing again.
Okay. So I guess just my concern, and I don't know what people's experiences have been with a building project, but someone who led a building a brand new school and a renovation. Yeah, I know that you guys will look to see in terms of trying to match skill and experiences to the committee, so just if that could be noted somewhere in terms of that, if there is a change, if someone wants to step away, because we want to be equipped as much as we can with as much knowledge representing the school committee. The other thing, Katrina, that I just want clarification, are you talking about like a joint labor when there's a liaison for when there's contractual issues, or just like?
No, we
Like
have a
just somebody-
negotiations, we have a negotiations subcommittee.
Negotiation is different. Negotiation is when you're trying to mutually agree upon contracts. But if there's issues, contractual issues in a building, say, and it can't be resolved, sometimes there's a joint meeting between upper administration and the union leadership. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not exactly sure, I'm reporting what they said to us during their survey meeting. They just basically want to have opportunities to be in a room with the school committee to, I don't know, have us listen, to feel like we're connected in some way.
Okay.
Beyond our function as a negotiating team. And so I don't really know what the appropriate avenue for that is, but I would like it to be really clear at the outset of the year how it happens.
As someone who's in
whatever it is they're wanting.
Sure, as someone who's in a union and now sitting on this side of the table, I think we need to be super careful with that and make sure that we are not crossing any line.
Well, maybe we can get legal counsel to tell us how to do what they would like, which is to have more of an opportunity.
I hear what you're saying, that they want an opportunity.
Maybe they
I
can
hear
come to
that.
our meetings and we could schedule it into the agenda. I don't know,
I
but
don't
that's what
either,
we asked for.
but I want to be very careful with that. So I hear you, and we will look into that.
Thank you, Katrina.
Anyone, Mike?
Just to clarify, at the FEA meeting, they had said they wanted something similar to the high school group, which myself, you and Chris met 3 times a year.
Advisory.
Advisory, that's what they were talking about doing, just a group where
Okay,
that was the idea.
I see, thank you for the clarification. Anyone else? Seeing none, okay, moving on to first read on the school committee meeting dates for 26-27. And I have asterisk in here. Kelly and I had casually talked about having, when possible, and we do realize that things will come up and we will have to amend or things come up in life, but having scheduled approving executive session minutes so that minutes are not left behind unintentionally, so that we as a committee are staying on top of them. We casually talked about that. So that is the, I just want to add that in to the first read on the school committee meeting dates for 26-27.
I'm sorry, Melissa, I was writing. Can you just say what you said again?
Sure. Kelly and I had casually talked about having scheduled executive session review dates.
Oh, that's
quarterly, every 5 months, no, but you know what I'm saying, just so that nothing unintentionally gets left behind, so that we stay on top of things, so that it's not overwhelming and it's mid-August and we're there at 10 o'clock at night and we're tired and sweating and we have to approve 10 things that we're trying to remember, all the things. So we casually talked about that. So that's just what I have to say on that. And again, that's just the first read. So it's just food for thought, putting it out there. Is there any conversation on the first read for school committee meeting dates? Seeing none. Act on EL text and materials as surplus.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike, I'm gonna still second it.
No, it's before.
Any discussion?
No.
Perfect. We have to roll call because someone's by Zoom.
I'm
You
sorry.
can start. You can
Welch,
start.
yes.
Jane.
Norton, yes.
Nevin, yes.
Lowell, yes.
Susie, yes.
Augusta, yes.
Cohen, yes.
Feeling yes.
Let's keep yes, it passes unanimously. Thank you all. Act on the capital plan. Lori, you wanna take it away?
The only thing I want to state is that when you act on it, you're, just as a reminder, you're acting on the October 2026 line. And Nick, we want to acknowledge that you had asked for more detail. I think you were okay when we talked about the bottom section under system-wide, and the reason for that, we did not, because this is we've already read it once and we're voting, we did not change anything for now, but we'll be working on that and we'll be looking into making more detail moving forward, but we didn't want to make changes right now.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting any changes in this go around. I just think that there are a lot of assets in this school, and we should include more of them on the list.
Yep, we heard you, I wanted to acknowledge that, but otherwise.
Thank you.
Otherwise, that's presented.
So moved.
Thank you. I'm gonna second just for the sake of all the things. Is there, we have to roll call. Kelly, go ahead.
Welch, yes.
Jane.
Norton, yes.
Nevin, yes.
Lowell, yes.
Susie, yes.
Augusta, yes.
Cohen, yes.
Feeling yes.
Let's keep yes, it passes unanimously. Thank you all. Moving on to act on superintendent's, excuse me, act on procedures for medication, delegation, and administration. This has been a mistaken entry item. Sorry, is it even on this agenda?
Yeah, it's
Probably on the help one. It was a mistaken item. No need to act because we already voted. So please disregard that, and we are moving on to acting on this.
Can I just add,
Please,
though,
yeah.
the revised are in the packet, though.
I was gonna say, I thought we did
Yes.
language, yeah.
Yeah, so they are there.
Thank you. And now act on the superintendent's recommendation for assistant superintendent.
Yes, so I'd like to recommend Sandy Capson-Bellis as the additional role of assistant superintendent. And that's the additional in with her director of student services role. So the assistant superintendent is an additional role. So I am recommending Sandy Capson-Bellis.
So moved.
Let's keep second. Roll call, Kelly.
Yay. Welch, yes.
I'm sorry, there was a discussion. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, please, Jane.
So, Director of Special Education plus Assistant Superintendent?
So, yeah, so in Falmouth, I don't know how they're doing it in other districts, but there is a director that is signed the additional role. The assistant superintendent isn't a position in and of itself. So it is on top of the role of their director role. And that's whether it's in the teaching and learning, as Sonia's been holding for many years, or if it's in any of the other departments. They still have their director role, and then it's an additional responsibilities, which was in the package.
Do you feel like it'll be okay?
Of course.
I asked her already, is that point, she said yes.
Any more, Margaret?
I just want to, it was a great selection. I'm so glad that Sandy's going to take on that responsibility. I think she'll be wonderful.
I guess I'm just gonna wait and see. I trust that you're more than capable of that, it's not about you, I just think it's an awful lot. But again, being the newbie, it's my learning curve, so I'm gonna sit back and watch it. It's any kind of dual role in administration is very hard. So, I applaud those who've been doing it, or going to be doing it, but it is a lot, so. Good luck.
I just want to reiterate that is the practice in Falmouth for as long as
Yeah.
anyone has ever
For a
gone
while.
back. It's never been a separate
Yeah,
role as an assistant
yeah, I know, I guess I just didn't realize the extent of it, I guess. Even if it has been a past practice.
Yeah.
It's still a lie.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. So, it's not you, it's just, I'm actually advocating for you, I hope you understand. So,
We're tougher here in
oh, right. You're in striking distance, my friend. I just think it's hard, and you know that as each year goes by, there's new demands, new laws, new challenges, and like we do with our classrooms, we try to keep them, the number of students less, right? And so we have more teachers and so forth, and I think sometimes administrators are often, like teachers, expected to do more, and it's just hard, so. We're certainly being fiscally responsible. So, that's all. Thank you.
Superintendent, business manager at the same time. If any other comments, because I'm gonna make a few. Thank you, Sandy, I think you're gonna do a great job. Thank you, Lori, for suggesting Sandy. But to Sonia, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Thank you for explaining things and making it easy and being a leader and showing up, and I appreciate you, and I'm gonna miss you at this table. It's gonna be weird not having you here, but best of luck to all your things. So, thanks.
Is this your last meeting with us?
Yeah, she'll be with us on the 23rd.
Oh, that's
So,
what I thought,
yes.
yeah,
So
okay.
That's why we.
It's ice cream cake day.
Party committee.
Party committee. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call? Kelly?
Welch, yes.
Yes.
Nathan, yes.
Oh, yes.
Susie, yes.
Augusta, yes. Colin, yes.
Feeling yes.
Well, Keith, yes, it passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your trust and confidence in me, and I will work very hard. I look forward to the opportunity and the role. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
All right, routine business, act on the minutes of May 26, 2026.
So moved.
I'm gonna second. Is there any discussion, edits, any? Seeing none, roll call. Kelly?
Welch, yes.
There were a couple places, I'm sorry, I forgot, I'm so sorry, my name was misspelled a couple places, but it doesn't matter, it's fine.
We'll fix
Nevin,
it.
yes.
We're gonna fix it.
That's a new name.
Oh, yes.
Susie, yes.
Augusta, yes. Colin, yes.
Feeling yes.
We'll speak yes, and that passes unanimously. Thank you all. Committee reports. Who's going? Who's up?
We don't have any committees, do we?
Does anyone have any? No? Anyone have anything nice to talk about?
Are you going to ask for, I don't know if you're gonna do it here, it would have to be, for upcoming.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay, didn't know what it was.
I have good stuff to say.
Tell me.
So last Wednesday, I did the La Capella concert, it was great. On Friday, the Lawrence School Band won gold, not band, chorus won gold. And there's a concert on Friday night with La Capella and the high school Capella band, I don't know what they're called. But that's all the good news I have. It's great news.
I have good news. I went on the VIPS appreciation evening aboard the Island Queen. It was lovely. It makes me proud of our town that we have the VIPS. I'm very grateful. So thank you for a lovely evening, and thank you for having this in our town. Thank you, Jardine and Tracy. And to all the VIPs who are in that program, your time is appreciated. Now, are there any other nice things to say?
Oh, I got one.
I just question just about, is there a way to get a calendar of events like that?
Girl, I have been asking for that 12 years.
Because as the boat was pulling out, someone was saying, are you going to VIPS? Like as if I was gonna be running down the dock or something, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I would personally love that. I have been asking for what I have called a district calendar, and I've been told repeatedly that you have to subscribe to every elementary school and every, all 7 schools. But then there's also things folded in like this, like FBF, like other events that kind of come up. So we'll continue to work on that.
Okay, so I just want to add, we've been trying to get the schools to put everything on the district, so when they add it to their school, it's on the district, so everything is in one place.
Yeah.
Especially for parents that have multiple kids in different, locations, grandparents that want to know everything, they go to one place, so we've been working on that, to try to make that better.
Okay, so in another district, Nick, we used to have like an NFL draft kind of day, but it was like a calendar day where the principals would come or anybody that was creating an event, and we would spend an hour and a half and we would make it right there.
I love it.
And it was so simple, and we also did it that way, and we were able to avoid having 2 major events on the same night.
Yes, as we had last week.
Yes, or having,
School event.
The high school,
Okay.
so what you have to do to win out that date.
yeah. There may have been money
Get first choice next
year. But I just know like it, and that went right on the website, so it had.
That's a great idea.
It went by the date, and then it would list the school and the event and the time.
I bet if you had a party involved, that could really turn into some fun times.
We always did it at the end of the school year for the next year. Sorry, Laurie, I can see your stress.
No, I'm not stressed at all, I'm just saying, okay, no, but I did, what I was waiting just to share, just so you know, there are, so Monday nights are elementary nights, so when you look for things, like they have their concerts, and unfortunately, the art shows, the concerts and all, they are pretty much the same nights, right, so, yeah, it's fun, you get in the car and you stop here for 10 minutes and you go around the floor, you get a little bit of each. The Morse Pond and Lawrence are on Wednesday nights, that's their nights to schedule, and so they work, between the two of them, work out that they're not putting on the same thing on the same nights. And then the high school's Thursday night. And then Tuesday night's stuff for school committee meetings and anything else that has to do with district business, but just as an overarching map for that.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly?
Maybe we need a calendar subcommittee.
We have one.
Oh, we did have that back in the day. No, I just wanted to share good news. So Margaret and I last week were at the senior breakfast again, doing our regular outreach table where we share information about how to check to see if you're registered to vote, and the much more famous and newly added how to get an absentee ballot if you're going to be outside of Falmouth next year. The kids really respond well to that one piece. And of course, they love the breakfast too. So thanks to the high school for having us. It's a great tradition.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. That's great. Anything else? All right. So next, we're not adjourning. Kelly and I have decided to add in ideas for future agenda items. So instead of, we're changing the language a little bit to be a little bit more inclusive, to be a little bit more, just changing things up, just trying to turn the page and be as best we can. So are there any ideas for future agenda items? Mike, I don't even have to look up to know that.
It wasn't me this time. I do have one, but it wasn't me.
You can have first right refusal.
All right, so what I would like, and I commend Paul and Kevin and Lori for the roof thing, and this doesn't have to be an immediate thing, but at some point in time, I want to kind of dig deeper into the roof. Like, I know right now it's safe.
I don't think you should say that.
What's that?
You want to dig into the roof?
Somebody dug into it. But just have, and then thank you, Lori, for your updates. I'm just needing a more like in-depth conversation about that.
Do you need us to second things?
No,
This is like
nope.
it is now.
This is,
Okay.
nope.
Okay.
What you got planned?
So I would really like to have this committee do something quite tangible, which is address the pre-K. And I know that's part of navigating the future, that's a big project that is overwhelming, and I don't wanna have us tackle the totality of it. Also, some of it is going to be part of the feasibility study, but I do think we can talk about the merits of having a pre-K, whether we want to go ahead with this. Part of the superintendent's evaluation issue was, that there was not specific direction on components of that. So I think we should take that up and either clear the plate of that or give direction that that's something that we want to pursue. So I would like to have that as an agenda item for our next meeting.
We will take that into consideration. Thank you. Sue?
I would just like the opportunity with no specific votes or anything of that nature, but just a chat session where we can all start to talk about the things that we'd like to get others' opinions on. I know that's very vague, but that's what I want, the opportunity for all of us to talk.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Margaret?
I didn't expect this to come up, so I have not
Sorry.
thought about that.
I can appreciate that. Nick, anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, just to pick up on what Glenda was just talking about with the early learning center or whatever we want to call it. I think we should have a discussion or get some information about what that would cost, how we would possibly fund it, like how big of a increase is this? And just sort of get some discussion about, like, can we even do this? And then what I was gonna say before Glenda said that was, we should also invite either the town manager or maybe his designee to talk with us about the longer term budget impacts. So the select board has had a couple meetings now where they've been talking about the budget issues coming ahead. They've met with the finance committee on that, and we should really get engaged in that conversation as well. We're a really big chunk of the town's overall budget, and baked into their calculations show for us a 3.5% increase for the next 10 years in their projection. Is that a real number? I don't know, but even at that percentage, which is less than what we've historically been able to do, there's a huge deficit in the town, right? So I just think we want to be involved in that discussion, or else we might end up being at dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we want to formally ask the town manager through the superintendent here to, let's get that presentation, let's talk about what, might really be coming.
Okay.
And the sooner we start, the better.
Okay. Thank you. Katrina?
The navigating future things that are still hanging are, I would like to know when we'll have the grade configuration as an agenda topic. As I know we probably don't know that right now, but at the earliest possible moment, so that we have some
I don't think
planning time.
anyone's gatekeeping that.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but so that we have time to do surveys and like
Sure,
have a proper
of course.
conversation. The moving attendance boundary lines conversation we still have never had. That's, I think, important, and even if we can't make a move on it, we should have the conversation, because we've never actually done that. I'm sorry.
Let's make sure we have attainable goals as well.
Right, well, those are hanging from before, and we need to just bring them back, I think. My personal thing is increasing outdoor education, and I don't know if that can be an agenda topic. Kelly and I have talked about that, and, I would love to have a conversation about that, because it was part of the green initiatives with the gardens and the compost and the cafeteria, the new shack and all that, and so bringing that back into the conversation would be like a heart project of mine. And then the thing I hear most about from, again, these are parents of elementary school kids and preschool kids who are going into kindergarten and current kindergartners up through 5th grade, are the parents I mostly talk to, and they, a huge number of people, and surprisingly most upset are in kindergarten about the amount of screen time that's being used in classroom settings. So that is a topic that I would really dearly love to have on the agenda for this year. And I know we have a lot on the agenda already.
I just want to say that that's not really in the school committee's purview.
Well, it's a policy thing, you know, if you have, because again, I think it comes back to consistency for me. If you have different schools and within that school, different teachers and classrooms are using screen time in different ways and in different amounts, that sounds to me like a policy thing. So, and it's the topic I hear most from parents, honestly.
Yep.
Above all the stuff we've talked about this year, that's the thing that comes up the most, that they're concerned about.
I get it. It's hard when they're coming into kindergarten and people do
handed an
things
iPad
different.
and they've never seen an iPad
Yeah,
before.
no, I get it. Okay. Katie?
I think to kind of piggyback on what Nick was saying, just as part of that work and looking towards navigating the future, just some of those other costs that we need to be cognizant of in terms of any physical changes to the facility, if we do have an early learning center, like smaller toilets, smaller furniture, all of those things that you don't think about that will cost money to do. And then just in terms of preparing the move, time on the school calendar for purging and packing and moving. And so there's a lot of things that have to be considered. So I think Nick is right, the sooner we get going on that. And some of the numbers might be hard to get if we haven't made a decision on what the configuration is gonna look like. But we definitely have to, those take 2-3 years in advance to prepare for. The other thing I want to say is I'm just very grateful to Kelly, to you, and to Melissa for asking us. I think it's huge. I think it's a positive step forward. I know not every item may get on the agenda, but I think it's goodwill, and I appreciate it very much.
And I just wanted to say thank you because, you know, we kind of threw it at you without any notice, and you guys just, you know, such great ideas. So thank you for, you know, being so quick and willing to send them. And if you think of other things, send them, because even if we can't get them on, you know, the next meeting or whatever, when we start planning for the whole year, we can try to fit everything in if we know what everybody wants to hear about. So thank you for having such great thoughts.
Can I ask a question? Are you planning to do this again? Is this a regular part of our meetings from now on, or is this just a one-time?
Kelly and I haven't even
offer?
talked about that
Yeah,
much
okay.
yet.
Baby
Haven't even got
steps.
that far yet.
Okay, didn't know if you'd had that conversation.
Nope.
Thank you.
We're doing our best, one meeting at a time. All right, is there anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Well, before we adjourn, I just want to say that I know that it's been rocky. Kelly and I are doing our very best to gain trust back and do everything that we can. If you are seeing something that you don't like, please remember that we are still human beings and that we're probably not always going to get it right, but I assure you that we are doing our very best to get it right. We have both been sitting at this table for quite some time, and we wouldn't be here if we weren't passionate about it and if the town didn't trust us. So I know that it's hard to trust when the trust hasn't been there, but I am asking you very respectfully to try and look for the good, because I promise it's there. So that being said, Mike, I will take your motion, and I'm gonna, thank you, Nick. Roll call.
Welch, yes.
Norton, yes.
Nevin, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Susan, yes. And Dusty, yes.
Feeling yes.
Yes, thank you all very much.